All right.
Oh, wait. Kelly goes live early.
We're live. Surprise.
Sometimes things happen early, folks. Welcome to the Wes Smith Variety Show, episode number
46.
46.
46.
45 and 46, folks.
Not exactly sure.
I knew that too. Damn it. Start over. Take two.
Start over. Sorry, folks. Come back in 5. No. Hey, this is Wes Smith, and I'm in sunny San Diego. Yeah. As the faithful listening base knows, we changed locations. By the way, today's awesome special guest is Jimmy Kennedy.
Hey.
Actually runs a talk show.
Well, you know what? I get confused a lot, and I've been called this. I actually just got called it the other day. The Jamie Kennedy, the famous comedian.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. People go, "Oh, Jimmy Kennedy, like Jamie Kennedy," and I go, "No, not like Jamie Kennedy. It's like Jimmy Kennedy
because that's two totally different names."
Yeah, and he's kind of
not even close.
And he's I don't know if he's just not like my brand of humor, but I don't know. Sometimes I just I'm like. You know, people go, oh, like John F. Kennedy. You know,
my neighbor calls me Carrie all the time.
Yeah, well, so cool, I get the presidential thing too. I get Jamie John F. Kennedy, and I'm very close, but it's Michael, so I'm JMK, not JFK.
Yeah,
pretty close. Pretty close.
Let's get right into our uber organized beginning of the show, where we have unofficial sponsors first. Well, actually, the only official one we have is Juice Recordings. And I was thinking the other day, like we always like ask people the best place to find them on the internet, and like really the best place is just go Google Juice Recordings, and that's pretty much all you can do anymore, right? We're everywhere with that same name, or the label is, and yeah, it's out there. Beatport, all the streaming sites. I don't know, dude. To be honest, I don't even know everywhere it goes anymore. So go click on something, and I'm sure we'll get a penny.
Is it the Yo Big or Yo Home?
That too, yeah. See,
yeah, there you go.
Yeah, Yo Big or Yo Home.
Yeah, that domain reroutes there now. Yo and Big. Let's see. That was an official one. So unofficial sponsor. Well, Jimmy was kind enough to bring some Belching Beaver peanut butter milk stout, so we'll just give them a shout because that's a great beer.
Belching Beaver.
Good folks.
I will say that I was just up with my girlfriend and a couple friends at the Belching Beaver up in Vista this last weekend. They have an amazing facility up there with quite possibly the biggest list of craft beer, like their own beers that I've ever seen. This thing was on a menu that was probably about 2 feet long.
Cheers, man.
Ooh, sounds fancy. How do we find you, Jimmy?
How do you find me?
Yeah, Jimmy, how do you find me?
Well, you can find me on the Book of Faces.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm on there. From a musical standpoint, you can find me on Mixcloud. Also, I just go under Jimmy Kennedy. So
not Jimmy.
That's your real name.
My name is James Kennedy. It's James Michael Kennedy, and I'm from a very Irish family.
Do you know what my real name is?
Well,
we know from last week because your mom called it Wesley
Carter.
Pete Carter?
No, it's Wes Smith.
I was gonna say I was like this whole time I thought it was Wes Smith. If you've been lying to me.
It's the Wesley.
When I decided I would actually have anyone else design anything cool on my behalf, for example, graphics, I decided I should stick with my real name. Because the last thing you want to do, folks, is have all kinds of cool shit created and then decide you don't like your name anymore.
Yeah.
And then you spend a year going through the alias change dilemma.
Yeah. I've been Jimmy Kennedy since I was a kid. I was, obviously named James Kennedy, but to me that was very formal and it never really was very fitting. And I was Jimmy since I was a little kid, and at some point they told me I should change it. I should go by Jim.
Nah, you can do whatever you want.
And I said, you can sit there and just name off professional athletes and actors. Why do I have to be formal?
Jim, if your name is Jim, you don't have to have a tie.
Yeah, I'm hardly formal by nature, so I don't think I'm the one that needs to be changed. Changed it.
Well, you've come to the right place.
Unless to compensate for my behavior.
Yeah, folks. So Jimmy comes in and he before we started the live thing, he said a couple things, but one of them was, something about
Don't
trying not to don't touch me.
Don't touch me.
I forgot the candy, but the van's outside, and you know, hey, I don't mean to self-promote, so I made it clear that there's absolutely nothing but self-promotion going on here.
Literally all we do.
You go to the Urban Dictionary and look up Variety ShYo. It just says self-promotion.
Yeah.
And then right below that, the second definition is like a disclaimer that there is absolutely no advice you should follow.
I think we'll go with. I'll try to avoid shameless self-promotion.
All of it shameless. We don't care.
Yeah, I think that's probably just.
That's why it's shameless. We don't care.
Yeah, and if you want to be shameless, hey, go ahead.
Hard to do when you don't wear pants.
It's hard to do when you don't wear pants. That's the beauty of the show.
Unofficial sponsor. I got unofficial sponsor the next one because I don't have one today. They all got drank, but some of my good pals and their girlfriends over at United by Base Crew.
Oh yeah.
They gave me a case of, or I finagled from them a case of Mama Chia, the chia seed drink last episode, and the one before we talked about how it makes some people forget the word. But anyway, it's great stuff. It's healthy, supposedly. Let's say it's not unhealthy.
What's it called? What's it called?
Mama Chia. You can look it up. Let's look it up and read something official off their website.
I'm looking at. Oh, it's
Do you know chia seeds?
They're from Southern California.
So this is a sustainable, organic, plant-based superfood company with a mission to share the magic of chia and lead its renaissance by offering organic food and beverages powered by chia.
Anytime they talk about a health beverage with the word renaissance in the first part of the title, this is why we don't have official sponsors on here.
they're called Vitality drinks.
Because we want to rewrite their promotional language.
It's Vitality drinks is what they call them.
Yes.
But I will say that the best promotion is that there are none left.
There's none left.
If there are none left, that's good.
And
promotion.
I drank them. I loved those things.
Means they're good. If they're still sitting around collecting dust.
I loved them.
Good promotion.
They were relatively low in, added sugar, which is 2018's, crazy whole thing to watch out for, according to people that no longer work for the Trump administration as of yesterday. He canned the VA chief of medicine or whatever by Twitter.
Via Twitter.
Strong work, dude. Yeah.
It's not the first one, too. He fires a lot of people by Twitter.
But then work.
News sources are like, well, it's official. It came out over Twitter.
What day do we live in? I'm so confused.
Not only is it great that a completely non-private, which I'm fine with, but not a completely non-private messaging platform has become the White House official communication line, but it's limited. Well, it's not 140 anymore. What is it? Do you know? 200 something?
I don't Twitter. You Twitter. I don't Twitter.
On the limitation of characters in Twitter. 280.
The thing is, I'm big into Facebook, and I do Instagram. Someone said to me, they said, you really need to get on Twitter for the random and funny stuff that you say. And I tried it, and I just couldn't get into it.
Yeah. 280 characters now.
I'm trying my best.
I was like, you know what? I think I got to cap my social media too. Like Instagram and Facebook. If there's something else, it's going to have to really bring some value. If I'm going to extend from there.
Oh yeah.
Venmo's kind of tries to be a little bit of a social thing.
Venmo.
They added in where you can put comments. And
I admit I do look at the Venmo sometimes. I'm like, oh, look, so and so spent $40 on brunch. Okay.
Every comment on Venmo should say it was not really for this. 50% of what people pay for on Venmo was probably not for what they're saying it was. It was $162 lunch. Okay, sure it was.
At a taco shop.
Yeah. At $162 of tacos.
Trust me, folks, if you're not from San Diego, or even if you are, and you pay $160 for any amount of tacos,
160
too much.
Yeah, that's in my hood over here.
It was $160.
The whole city.
Since when did Tijuana start charging $160 for tacos?
Yeah. Let's see.
Moving right along.
We haven't used any 4-letter words yet, but the show is definitely no longer PG,
folks.
I do use Twitter to retweet Eric Rigsby whenever he tweets stuff.
So actually, before I got here, which would have been good to ask some questions beforehand, according to policy, was do I need to watch my language? I will watch.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, I was gonna say.
In fact, very few people will watch your language because most people hear this later, and not on video.
It's okay. I put this.
Yeah, this sort of eloquence continues.
Well, you know, I don't know. You know, family members are gonna actually tune in. Probably not.
No, in fact, Kelly and I have tried to identify any of the people that we see that follow. So what happens is this, you know, the YouTube live stream goes, it gets recorded automatically. There's a few people that watch, they fade in and out. We're pretty sure most of them are just getting drunk and kind of just need some background noise. and then later, you know,
I think we're better than elevator music. Okay,
we are
way more entertaining.
Oh, we are. And I'm positive that there's some people that put this thing on autoplay because there are now 45 episodes. They're all at least an hour and a half.
Wait! Everyone, be quiet. This is the part where they talk about the $160 tacos.
Yeah,
everybody shut up.
I will say something funny though about going back to the search thing when I was talking about juice recordings and stuff. Is well, I thought it was funny. So I was at a party here in San Diego, and somebody wanted to play like a DJ mix of mine because I had one came out on DJ Ideal's mix 94.9 thing. And I had a lot of fun doing that, and he was on here and whatever later. So anyway, they tried to find it while I was at a party because they realized we had that. So they go looking for it online, and it was fine. But I'm like in the room, and I start hearing Red Sonja talking, and me, and I'm like, "What is going on?" And like, there's people that are trying to like put a mix on and dance, you know, and hang out and party, right? And then I hear Alien Tom, you know, and me, and Red Sonja, and I'm just so confused. And they're asking me like, is this a mix? And I'm like, no. Like it's
an
episode
variety
of
show.
So we got that. So
it's
that's
really hard to dance to.
Well, that's the first thing that comes up, I guess, if you start looking, you know, for me. I don't know. Maybe they were looking for Alien Tom.
Yeah.
Who knows? Let's see.
Might have been on SoundCloud.
Before we get completely unstructured, yeah, it was on SoundCloud. Let's see. Events. Yes, we like to cover those things quickly at the beginning. My good friend DJ ShYo in San Francisco would shoot me in the foot if I forget, but please go to juicenightout.com. You could try it. Go to the same place you already were. Anyway, April 21st, San Francisco at Monarch. I will be there DJing, not co-hosting a podcast, but DJing alongside DJ ShYo and Eric Rigsby and Hot Mess and Nurse. The five of us will be dropping all things bass.
Nurse noise.
Great house. Some great, probably tech house. Every micro genre of house, breaks, bass. I just am so lost at what to call it all anymore.
All your bass belong to us.
You know, actually, what I should just say is I don't think there'll be any trap, and I don't think there'll be any drum and bass. That's probably a good way to phrase it.
Yeah, I agree. Probably no glitch hop.
Because other than that, I'm not really sure anybody actually that just goes to parties really knows what any of those words mean.
Yeah, and so much stuff.
We're past dubstep.
Yeah, so much stuff blends these days too. Genres blend so much. You know, and I feel like every other few weeks I hear someone come up with a genre that I really don't know exactly what it is.
It is one of the oldest debates in history. It's not among music folks anyway. Music geeks and nerds and stuff. Yeah, so that's coming up. Then
that looks like a lot of fun.
I was about to say another one, but I can't say that one yet. But I will soon. This next show.
Do you guys regularly do that at Monarch?
I play there like once or twice a year.
Pretty cool.
It's been a couple times at Monarch, a couple times at Public Works.
Monarch, pretty cool spot.
Monarch's great. If I do the show like my own promotion, we do it at Monarch because the size could fit a few hundred people. And it gets pretty full.
He said the size is a good fit.
That's right. Yeah, but for example, so like other times I've played there, Dusty Rhino, Big Burning Man Camp, you know, he brought me up there. Space Cowboys before. Kelly and I both.
Cowboys, woo!
Space Cowboys at different places. Her Breakfast of Champions shirt on. That's their like 6,000+ plus person party on New Year's Day.
Oh, nice.
We both played that. So yeah, anyways, so some cool stuff. But as far as events go, before I get Jimmy's events, because this guy's, well, that's what we're actually here to talk about. That's why I got all excited about Jimmy Kennedy, because we're both marathoners in a sense. But this one, I'll give it a shout out. We got West Coast Weekender. That is coming up. Do you know the dates?
May is the first weekend.
May 3rd through the 6th.
On the poster. May 3rd through 6th.
I was going to say it's the first weekend. Yeah, it actually starts early on. It's not just the weekend.
Yeah,
I think it starts on
This is Thursday at the Lafayette Hotel.
It's pretty cool this year that this is the first year that they're doing events at the Lafayette Hotel, and that's a really, really cool spot for music if you've never been there before. And they've thrown a lot of really great pool parties over the years. And
I've never been there for a music thing, so I am excited.
And it's really just it's like an old historical hotel too. It's kind of like you kind of feel like a throwback in time going in there. It's a pretty dope spot.
Cool. Well, for anyone that listens later or is listening, or is listening, I was showing the flyer there. But you can go to, I think it's westcoastweekender.com or .org. Again, Google it. All the stuff's there. Bunch of the long time and good, or active, I should say, new, promoters of San Diego house music, tech house, etc. Without getting too much drum and bass there. Cool stuff.
And they've got a really extensive on Facebook.
Yeah, everybody involved is top notch for San Diego, I would say.
Oh yeah, the guys that are in charge of they put on so many different music events in San Diego.
So shout out to Oscar P. and
Oscar P.
The Deep End, I'll House You. You got United by Bass. I mean, those are definitely some of the big ones. They do Soleil, all these things.
Chris Herrera,
yeah. So check them out if you're coming to San Diego. If not, and you can't make it this year, plan to come next year. This is our 3rd year. But I went to like a kind of volunteer kickoff thing they had over at Lafayette, which is the first time I've been there. You were right, really cool place. Pools there, whatever.
To me, it feels very James Bond.
It does. I actually got myself a room there during the conference because the early bird stuff and discounts, and I just went ahead and dove in because I just thought the hotel was so cool. And I live over here about 10 or 15 miles maybe from it. I guess we are right now. So I didn't want to be going back and forth. And got some friends coming in.
I feel like you're going to turn around and like an old timey sports car is going to pull up and like
you do.
And Bond's going to get out of there and walk inside.
Yeah, it sounds like my kind of place.
Oh, that's great. That's great. It's good. I've been there for a wedding before.
I feel like this fits you maybe for your drink. Jimmy gets the koozie, dude. Hey Kelly, before I get to Jimmy's events, past and present, do you have anything coming up that you would like to share?
No, I am
Nothing.
No, I'm not currently taking bookings.
On a boat.
I'm not taking bookings until summer.
Oh, no bookings till summer. Great. All right. Well, we'll hear about it, no doubt, like by episode 50. Right. Let's get into Jimmy land, man.
Yeah.
So this thing with NAMM, I mean, just kind of tell people about it. I was joking about the marathon thing because I'm training for a rock and roll marathon, the way you run.
Right, the one where you actually do something.
And Jimmy posted this thing for his event, and I was like, dude, I'm coming by twice so I came by at like, I don't know, 9, a little after 9.
Yeah, you came early.
And then I came the next morning. I was on my way to LA. I came like 13, 14 hours later. He was still jamming.
Yeah.
Take it away, Jimmy. Tell us what that was all about.
It's funny because I was just getting ready to say, well, like you training for a marathon, that's way more physical. And it is physical, but I will tell you, I was sore. I was very sore. Well, I mean, the way the thing came about, I think was last year was kind of a rough year for me. Like I'd gone through like a layoff, and then right after that, I tore my Achilles. So that was kind of like what started. Tearing my Achilles was.
Oh wow.
Yeah, it's a lot. I mean, I'm still it was my surgery was June 8th. So, I'm starting to approach a year. It takes a full year to recover. My calf is still not quite the same size. I'm still in the gym working on it. But, I was laid up for months and months. I had a lot of time to kind of think about stuff. But I think when we got to the holidays too, something about, just the season of giving and whatever. And I've never done this event was very unique on, just for what we did. But
It's the first time I'd seen anything like it among music people I knew in San Diego.
Yeah.
So explain what it is first for everyone else.
First of all, it was called the 24-hour Pause for the Cause. And basically what it was I was going to DJ for 24 hours straight, nonstop. No relief, no relief DJs where, no one gives me a break, if you want to run to the bathroom, you let the track play and you go run, use the bathroom, you come back out and you keep going.
You play deep house.
Yeah, there's
you go to the bathroom, you play deep house.
Yeah, you know what you don't do? You don't take a bathroom break when you're playing drum and bass. that is an hour where there are no bathroom breaks. Yeah, if you're playing drum and bass, that's when you pee your pants.
Okay.
You're not gonna be able to make it happen.
Awesome.
But I don't know. I'd never done a big charity event before. I'd given money to different causes here and there, and whenever any of our friends would be doing a raffle or whatever, any kind of raising money, I'd throw a couple bucks. But I just got this feeling that I wanted to do something to really give back at a little bit more significantly. And so originally, at first, I was thinking about it. I had the idea of the 24-hour DJing and raising money, and we were thinking about people could make a donation based on how many hours they'd think I would go, or whatever, how many songs I would play. Someone wanted to make a donation per song, and they said, "How many songs do you think you're going to play?" I said, "I don't know, like 400 or 500."
A lot.
Yeah.
But so anyway, that was how it started. And I started thinking about what kind of charity I'd want to give it to. And I started thinking about the first one I thought about was like the Jimmy V Foundation for Cancer Research, and thought about there was even like the Pause for the Cause, like PAWS.
Well, I was just looking stuff up. Okay. Yeah.
And then I thought about it. I was like, why am I thinking about all these other organizations? I'd like it to be music related, since it's going to be about music. And I wasn't very familiar with the NAMM Foundation at that point. And so, but I found their page and started doing research on them, and it's really amazing. And so it was just a perfect fit. So that was how it started, and then
they're basically music education for kids. Is that right?
They do a lot of different programs. They do music outreach projects, not just for kids. They work with like grade schools and helping them with the music programs, getting them instruments.
Oh yeah, it's a dedicated website.
Teaching and stuff. Oh yeah, it's huge. And they have a web of partners too. They have like 10 or 15 different partners that they work with. So it's not just them. They work with all these other organizations as well.
They celebrate and promote the intrinsic value of music education.
But they do music programs for the elderly. They do it for children. They do it for wounded warriors. They do music education, and they also do music research. The research is like on the benefits of like emotional, mental, and physical, the effects of music on those.
Yeah, the scientific research, and they've been in inception was 1994, and they've donated more than 16 million in support to domestic and international music education programs, scientific research, advocacy, and public service programs relating to music making.
Yeah, I mean, check them out. They're just NAMM and you can get into all those details of that. Yeah, and so you raised, what did you end up raising?
So what my goal was to raise $2,400 in 24 hours.
Okay.
And just keeping it even with the 24 theme. And
because you like things in boxes, like let's organize.
I don't know. It appeals to my like organizational nature.
24 is a good number.
Yeah. I mean, it's not like I do everything in threes.
Kelly laughs at all my drawers and how they're the ones back there.
Oh yeah.
How they're all lined up.
I remember there was a baseball player named Larry Walker, and he had this like really like almost I wouldn't say disease, but he had this hang up on the number 3. It's like every morning he would have 3 pancakes and 3 glasses of milk, and his number was 33, and he took 3 practice swings before he got to play. Like everything was in 3s.
You know who else was like that?
Who's that?
Jack White.
Oh yeah.
White Stripes.
Yeah, does the same thing.
His record label is Third Man Records.
I have a long list of like silly that I get made fun of for all the time by family and friends, girlfriend. But if you watch me when we're walking around, sometimes I don't think about it. Sometimes I do the like don't step on cracks thing. I know I definitely do that. And I've got other things, but I don't do everything in series of 3. But anyway, the great thing about the fundraiser was that we ended up raising $2,500.
Yeah. Oh, that's for the 24 write-off, but that's okay because you earned more.
So we you know,
That's how he bought this belching beaver. Oh no, he didn't, people.
no, you know what?
That's not what he did with the extra money.
The one thing that's funny too is so I guess it's really not funny at all. I think we say that a lot, don't we? We start our sentences with, you know what's funny? I saw this car wreck the other day.
I'll tell you what though, I like that. I like that though better than, you know, to be honest.
To be honest, yeah. we always go like, you know what's funny? I saw this guy fall down, and you know, you're like, dude, it's not really funny. He got hurt. But what is interesting? How about that?
I like it.
Is that I forgot what I was going to say. It's really that. But I know what it is. The
plan was
so we did it. I set it up through GoFundMe, and I'd never used GoFundMe before, but I'll give a shout out to them. They made it very, very easy. So if you're looking to do any kind of charitable event, I would recommend GoFundMe. And the thing is, GoFundMe ties into all these different nonprofits and fundraising organizations, charities. So when you set it up, it links right to their PayPal account.
Oh, cool.
So when people go onto the website and they donate money, it doesn't go to me. I think some people.
Yeah, then you can just.
I think some people.
It's actually nice for you too, because you just don't have to administer it.
Yeah, I don't want to handle $2,500. You know, and like that. While I was doing the event, people kept showing up and kept giving me cash.
Oh shit!
And I started getting a little nervous because like I could feel my pocket. You know, like I had like a huge like.
You feel your pocket bulging?
Yeah, I could feel this growing pocket bulge.
Was it bulging like a pepper?
It was like a very large. Yeah, but yeah, I think I ended up with like $500 or $600, you know, in my pocket. So yeah, but you know, when you make the donation on GoFundMe, they hold it, and then when you close out the event, they PayPal the money right to the NAMM Foundation. So you don't even have to touch the money, and they send it right to them, and it goes right in their bank account, and it goes to work. So,
folks, if you're watching, that's a picture. Ironically, I asked Jimmy to send a couple pictures, which we, you know, just kind of started doing in case something interesting came across. And he doesn't send me one picture of the NAMM thing. But I got one. I was there. That was the early shot when I went earlier in the evening. And then I think I had, now get ready to be wowed, folks.
Did anyone stay there with you?
That's like 12 hours later. It's to say, well, no, there were people in and out, and I was there at very early times, both 24 hours. And there's people outside on the porch, and it was a good, whatever it was a fun showing. And
you know what the funny thing is that I was playing for 24 hours straight, so I didn't take any pictures.
Yeah, that makes sense.
Did anyone stay the whole 24 hours with you? Were there people? Did they stay for the duration?
Yeah, my buddy Jaleel that lives with me.
That's why he's
good.
And Jason, my buddy Jason was there. He went. We took a little siesta in there. I think he took like a 2-3 hour siesta. He said, "Man, I gotta go lay down for a minute."
That sounds like something I would do. I'm just gonna go take a nap. I'll be right back.
What is funny is if you Google Jimmy Kennedy 24-hour pause for the cause NAMM, you can see the Variety ShYo episode 46 up there. We're pretty good with our SEO, dude. The Variety ShYo is ahead of your event. But you do see the Pretty Kitty Lounge, and that's suspect, dude. Lounge. Look, I'm not kidding you. I type that in, and there's us, and there's a Pretty Kitty Lounge.
Yeah, you know, it's great, the Pretty Kitty Lounge, because it's a completely fictitious place that I made up. My buddy Jack, who I do a radio show with every Tuesday, Taco Tuesday Radio.
This is where it gets shady, folks.
So I live on the second floor of a building, and underneath me there's a tattoo shop and a piercing shop. Well, back in the day, it used to be a Pretty Kitty Brazilian waxing salon.
It's next to the pho place, because that's where I went when I came to your house. I'm like, I know where this is, and I show up at the fucking Pretty Kitty Brazilian wax salon, and there's no one there, no music. I'm like, what the hell?
It used to be right underneath my apartment. So when people came over to my place, you know, like it started being a place for people to hang out and do music, and
it's a great place. By the way.
Thank you. And so Jack, every time he would come over to my house, he kept checking into the Pretty Kitty Brazilian waxing salon. I was like, dude, can you please stop checking into the Pretty Kitty Brazilian waxing salon?
That's awesome. And, that's so awesome.
And so I said, man, we got to come up with a better name than this. And so I said, why don't we just call it the Pretty Kitty Lounge?
Joke was definitely on me because I'm not kidding. I showed up at the salon.
I'm glad you did.
Yeah,
I'm really glad you did.
Because I used to live over on Diamond behind Trader Joe's, so pretty close, right? So like that's our neighborhood stores there in that neighborhood. And I was like, oh, I know where that place is. Didn't bother to look at the actual address on the Facebook event, and I end up like knocking on the door at the Brazilian wax salon.
Yeah, that's how it became that. And it's funny because we started, I started like a little silly, page on Facebook for it so that people could check in when they were there. And so people start checking in, and it starts growing. And now you can, like, when you search for it, it comes up.
Totally comes up, dude.
And it's all it really is my apartment.
So what did you do more about, like, I was impressed with the whole thing, but musically, because definitely music folks listen to this. It goes out through all my music channels and stuff and whatnot. But talk about that part a little bit, because I thought that was pretty awesome how you organized it musically.
Well, people said, so what are you going to play for the 24-hour Pause for the Cause? And I said, I haven't really thought about it. I play a lot of different styles of house, but when I started playing, I played a lot of drum and bass, and I'm into a lot of different styles of music. And so I started asking people, said, well, what do you want to hear? And people kept giving me a variety of different stuff. They said, I want to hear techno. And, like I like some of the down tempo stuff that you play, and I want to hear tech house and whatnot. So I started just thinking about different styles of music, and I was like, we got 24 hours, so I put together a spreadsheet. And just put, each hour, and then started blocking off a certain genre of music. And some of them, like, when we did the techno, I did techno from 2 to 4 a.m. as it should. As it should.
Yeah, I thought it was brilliant.
But I played 15 different genres.
It was like you were planning
music in 24 hours.
It was like you were planning a super fan music festival, but you just didn't want to hire any other DJs. It was awesome.
It was. I will say it. I mean, when I was putting it all together, I was thinking how fun it was to be able to play all those different styles of music. And then when I started playing, the week before, I was actually 2 weeks before, I was like, man, I don't have enough music for some of these. Anymore.
I was going to ask.
So I spent a lot of time in the last 2 weeks digging tracks and. Coming up like trance. I started listening to trance. That was one of the first types of electronic music I listened to, but I haven't played trance. And
where do you play trance? I think the only person allowed to play it is Armin van Buuren.
You know what? I'm not kidding. I played down at the Tipsy Crow with Matthew Bryan for No Request Sunday.
I'm getting him on your
and it was a Sunday, and people were out because President's Day was Monday, and we had a bunch of random people that I didn't know, but it was a younger crowd, and they weren't reacting as well to the house, and so I moved into tech house, and then I moved into trance. And they went absolutely berserk. And then I was getting ready to trade it back to Matthew, and I didn't know what to do.
I put on drum and bass.
I was like, I'm like, I can't trade it off Sander Van Doorn over to Matthew.
When you DJ with good friends, your job is not to hand them a full floor. Your job is to ruin it for them, so they have to build it back.
Well, I tell you what, I was about to hand him one of the biggest bags of shit ever, because he wasn't gonna be able to. So I was like, man, I need to transition this back to a tech house thing so he can move back into his regular style of house that he likes to play. But yeah, I did play trance. But so I did a lot of research, and it was a lot of fun. But I tell you what, it became challenging because I haven't played a drum and bass show in a couple of years.
Oh, really? All right.
So
you were excited about that though. I had to leave after 2 songs.
Yeah, I was really excited about it. But I tell you what, it's I'd forgotten how. It's fun, but you're working.
What was the hardest genre to get through?
I think drum and bass was where I had to concentrate the most.
Okay.
Because you go. I've got these songs that are 3.5, 4 minutes long.
Agent 137 is a drum and bass.
Oh yeah.
She came out 3 episodes ago. She with all these genres for years.
Yeah, but I tell you what, it was great. And I actually last night I actually threw on a few drum and bass tracks at home, and it's so much fun. But I just when you have it,
I love it
when you're sitting there living in your 118 to 125 life with songs that are 6 to 9 minutes long.
Yeah.
And then it's like, surprise, 175, 3.5, go. It's like, oh shit, wait.
I love it. And if anybody, if you hear this now or later, you come to San Diego, SD Union, they're kind of a subset of United by Bass. I mean, they were originally kind of that squad. The squad grew. I guess they have other ideas and they're doing great with other things as well. But SD Union is still their, imprint for the drum and bass only shows. There's probably a few other promoters maybe in San Diego, but those guys shows are awesome.
SD Union's great, and to give them a plug, they have New Logic coming.
Oh yeah,
New Logic is coming Memorial Day weekend. I think it's May 26th, I believe.
Okay.
I know because I have tickets to the show, and then my buddy decided to go get married on the same day.
Oh, decision.
Where did the scale fall on that one? I mean, because the decision's not over yet. I know that. I'll buy them for half price.
Well, I'll put it. Yeah, I know. It was one of those few times where I was like, I'm going to get them at the early bird price and save myself money for once.
Yeah.
And I'll leave it at this.
That always happens to you.
4 for the best man to dip out for 3 hours. I don't think the best man can dip out to go to a drum and bass show. Hey guys, you just keep going with the reception and I'll be back,
Yeah, there's a DJ coming. I gotta go for a minute.
Yeah, it's funny because I told my girlfriend Jessica, I said, listen to this. I was like, we got Michelle and Heather's wedding on the 26th. I've got tickets with Ethan to New Logic, and she goes, babe, you can't go. I was just got this serious straight
That's
face,
the
like
sense talking.
she's like, has this look in her face like, you're really considering that, aren't you? Like mad. She's like,
That's
you can't.
Sense talking.
I said, I know, I can't.
Yeah. Here's anybody you can go. There's the original event for the Pause for the Cause he's talking about. If you Facebook instead of Google and hit 24-hour Pause for the Cause, you'll find it. It's awesome. And go check it out because I'm not going to read all of the the event wording and promo the way that Jimmy did it in the beginning. But I do think, and it is one of the reasons I wanted to have him on here anyway, also is because the just raising money for any organization, but particularly music, which is near and dear to many of us and me for sure. And then just the way you did it, and you were successful raising what you wanted to raise. And I think you have a good message there for anybody who wants to do something. Be the change you want to be in the world. Is kind of the quote you gave.
It's true. It's a great quote, and it's so true.
And I think it's great. I love social media. I love whatever internet. All these things are all great, but I do think a lot of us run into a time where we're kind of like, okay, it's fun and talking about all this stuff, but what does anyone we know or ourselves actually do to make an impact, other than maybe going to the job we get paid for, or whatever it is we do to earn money, right? And truly giving something.
And one that I try not to use.
And volunteering for Burning Man doesn't count.
Yes.
We just want to delineate. Volunteering hard all year for Burning Man is not the same as raising money for music.
Yeah,
or education.
Just because you gave people directions to what stage you wanted to go see music on, that doesn't qualify.
It's not the same.
That's not a charitable contribution. We appreciate.
We're talking charity.
We appreciate you. But the other one, the other cliche that always fits is, and I try not to use it, but don't talk about it, be about it. That's the thing. The number of times you hear someone say, what I would really like to do sometime, an idea I had, just go do it. Go give it a try. Yeah. Here's, by the way, you said I didn't have any pictures. This is my favorite picture.
Did you send me that one?
I don't think I sent it to you, but this is.
This is from the pause.
Yeah.
You didn't send this one to me. No, but you can hold it up right there. Okay. If you hold your monitor up to that camera, you can see it. You can see it right there.
Can you see?
Man. Yeah.
That's a little pretty well.
Yeah.
That's me and my friend.
That is cool.
That's me and my friend B, and just one of my buddies that took that picture is also a guy that does professional photography. So
describe why you like it, because people that are looking.
The reason I like it is because just she's looking right at me with and you can tell she's laughing like hysterically, and I've got this kind of crooked grin on my face, and just the two of us look so happy, and it was like just it kind of captured like the spirit of the event, like and you can see people in the background dancing and stuff, and it's just a great picture.
Send it to me, dude. We'll post it when we post the podcast page. we'll post it. You can't get like photos and things in the actual podcast, but we do. There's a web page there that will have the recap of stuff as well, links and things, stuff like that. But yeah, if you are interested in how you would, like or not like programming 24 hours of music that you're DJing, if you do go to that event on Facebook, you will see there, friends, that Jimmy's spreadsheet, at least in Facebook form, is there. It shows the day, time, slot, the general kind of name of the music. For example, technically speaking, Tech House, he gave it some funny little names. The Depeche Cure was all Depeche Mode and the Cure.
That was a lot of fun. So just all Depeche Mode and the Cure. I just saw the Depeche Mode last time they were here. And awesome. growing up, my sisters, I have identical twin sisters, and they listened to some really cool stuff growing up, like the Cure and the Smiths and stuff like that.
I love them. The Cure is the first band I ever knew.
And to just do an hour that was all Cure, all Depeche Mode, it's funny how well that hour was received too. When I talked that I was going to do that, I can't remember one person that didn't go, oh man, that's awesome.
I'm going to read off the list real quick.
Sure.
There was Deep House. I'm going to read the description, not the funny name you get, but Deep House, house music, drum and bass, trance, tech house, techno, side chill / ambient, down tempo, all Cure and Depeche Mode, all 80s hits, all old school hip hop. That was kind of daytime. We're in the daytime now again. Alternative and some grunge rock. A section, group decision. People could vote for a couple hours there, early evening, the second day. And then Afro House, Deep House, and then, like Jimmy said, some of his favorites, at least these days, house, tech house, and techno.
I tell you what, I think one of the, when you said the toughest parts, like musically, like technically, like trying to still play well throughout all of it was the drum and bass, just because I was a little bit out of practice. But the Afro House portion of it, I've really gotten into that. Like another shout out, like Oscar P and the chocolate events that they're doing. They're really doing a great thing with Afro House and Afro Tech. I'm like Afro Tech because I'm a lot of like tech house stuff. So like the Afro Tech stuff really speaks to me. But
and you have an afro.
Yeah,
we both do. We're the two most afro-less people ever on the Variety Show.
I have an afro. It just comes out of my face.
That's what it does.
But anyway, the Afro House stuff. Like when we got to that, it was a part of the day where everybody had left, and we were down, to the hilt at that point. I mean, we had myself and two people, Jaleel being one of them. I mean, props to him for hanging in there. And I think that was the point Jason was taking a nap.
Yeah.
And so yeah, we really just had us, and I was sitting there playing, Afro House, and it was with no one there and not a whole lot of people to talk to. The energy had kind of died down, and it was just such I had like this mellow Afro House stuff going. And I started getting tired. I started getting like kind of worn out. It was like relaxing me. And like, so it was about that point that there was a knock on the door, and about 5 people showed up.
Nice.
And then right behind them, another 3 people showed up, and then a couple more people showed up, and then about within the next like hour or two, the whole place was packed. The kitchen was packed. The TV room was packed. People were out on the porch.
Well,
then it was not a problem after that. But I went through that one point, that lull, where like I was like, man, I'm running out of gas, and I'm so close.
Something I wanted to make sure we mentioned in here for anyone that let's say someone decided they wanted to do something like this, right? Would you did you have to actually coordinate with NAMM at all, or you go sign up on their site to donate money, or how did that work?
No, like I said, I set up the GoFundMe page, linked right into NAMM.
So they had them as like a integrated foundation you could contribute to.
They're already set up. Like I said,
awesome.
The money goes right when you close out the event. They send it right over to NAMM through a PayPal account.
Awesome,
I believe.
And you've got a picture of like the confirmation thing showing on
you. You don't have to do anything.
Awesome.
So that's one thing that's great about it. You don't have to touch the money. That's the thing that's kind of funny is doing a fundraiser for NAMM and not having actually spoke with anyone at NAMM. It's like,
well, yeah, I was curious because I think they're I mean, look, man, we see all kinds of people that do, and this is a point I'm going to make kind of about it is we see all kinds of people doing Facebook you know, like we're doing this or whatever. And I think if maybe just a lot of people haven't probably thought about it, or maybe have, and it can be like, you know, oh, too much pain in the ass, like mentally thinking.
Yeah.
But it sounds pretty straightforward to get it straight and go. And everyone's, you know, everyone that does anything with music has created a Facebook event and put your thing out there. And, you know, if you're hanging out, you know, doing this kind of mixing with friends or whatever on a regular, like a lot of us do, you know, maybe think about turning one of those into a little bit more, you know, structured fundraising, and give Jimmy a shout.
Yeah. And one thing, Kelly sent me a message that said, did I use USB Serato? I did the whole 24 hours off of one USB.
Wow!
I had the same USB with a copy of the same USB.
Try that, kids.
I had a 64 meg USB and a second one for backup, and then a couple other USBs. But I had it all organized on the one USB, and I have CDJ 2000s with a 900 Nexus mixer.
Record box, yeah.
So that's what I was playing off of. I have you know, just a couple little speakers, and you can. I sent you a picture. You can see the Mackie speaker in the background. I have a couple Mackies in there.
Yeah, this is just a picture of Jimmy DJ, and I'm giving a little excerpt in there.
Yeah,
anyone could check that real quick.
So
you can't find that's just promo shot, right? Like that's the glossy. You got the Photoshop in there.
What's that? Which one? That was just a picture at an event one time.
I just love how people have these like, you know, like soft background. You know,
I didn't even know
the makeup's done, the hair's blowing.
I didn't even know that picture was being taken. Being taken.
Yeah. I got no problem with professional headshots, but they are funny, man.
That was just we had a photographer at an event we were playing, and he came up, and it was actually Daryl took that.
Those are actually my favorite, and I will say, like I use my favorite thing to use for any of my photos that I would give for some official purpose, are definitely if at least a serious photographer took them at an event. You know, because I don't know what you really call pro. I'm not a photographer. I won't get into that. But
if you're not using a disposable camera,
you know, but if I hire somebody who is focused on taking, you know, quality photos, they've done other events, that kind of thing.
If you didn't open the camera out of one of those bags,
yeah. If it's not the same thing that you know tweet on.
Yeah.
If you can tweet from your camamera, it doesn't count.
Yeah.
Is that good?
If your camera also sends text messages, you may not be a professional
or
photographer.
or if it's got a Velcro wristband.
You may not be a photographer.
Can't wait till you can stream off your watch. We'll have all this streaming video of people's underside of their noses.
If you've never been paid for any of your photography.
That's right. That's what we're calling pro, folks.
Yeah.
If you've been paid for whatever it is you're doing, you're pro.
You're pro. Like,
that's right.
Just because you pulled out your iPhone 5S and took a picture and sent it to someone does not make you Ansel Adams.
It's a really interesting point, actually. You know, this is how we end up down the rabbit hole in certain things sometimes. But
you have to do me a favor. We just got into a laughing fit. You don't drown something right while I'm drinking.
I hadn't really thought about it, but
I about to spit up my beer.
Technically speaking, let's say if you had, let's say you had 100,000 followers on social media. Channels, whatever, and what you do is take pictures, and then, you know, so you got this following, but you've never been paid a penny to take pictures. Would that constitute professional or not?
I would say you've been robbed. Maybe you should.
I would say you need a manager.
Yeah, I would say you need some direction. Maybe a manager.
You need to start running some ads.
You might want to start charging for something.
I think it's your own fault. Start doing applause for the cause.
Yeah, I think it's probably your own fault at that point.
Your own cause. You need applause for your own cause at that point.
You're kind of like a victim of your own devices on that one.
That's pretty sad.
I will say this before we go on to anything else.
Yes.
I want to make sure that I did this. Like, in all seriousness, thank you to everybody that showed up, that donated money, that was supportive throughout the whole thing. Because even though I was the one sitting up there playing the music, it was a total community effort. You know, throughout the course of the 24 hours, the number of people that came in and out of my place, I couldn't even tell you. I mean, you know, somewhere in the 100, 150 range, but just, you know, from
and they may not have necessarily been, you know, all or less or more than the ones that donated.
Yeah.
Because I know there were some people I saw that donated that couldn't make it by or weren't even from here.
Oh yeah, we had donations from all over the country.
Yeah.
You know, people that, you know, someone shared. I've never posted anything on Facebook that got so many shares. You know, and
Dude,
that,
I'd never seen anything from you. I mean, I'd seen you play maybe at a party or two, strictly house,
right.
but I'd never seen you really post anything.
But they which is weird because I post stuff a lot.
You do,
yeah.
But I don't even see stuff Kelly posts about me.
So it might be better. It might be better that you don't.
It's like people ask me, how do you manage, like, you know, all the flow of social media? Like, I don't. That's how.
How do you do it? Well,
I don't manage it at all. I post it and run.
I get out.
But anyway, not to take away from your moment there. But,
oh no, I just wanted to thank everyone. But
awesome.
That's pretty much
yeah, it. I wanted to have you on here because I thought you're a funny guy too. But and the other things we can and we'll talk about. But that was clearly I guess a catalyst for it, you know. And again, I think whether it's San Diego or beyond, I mean, you know, it's an awesome way that you can put some of those hours of playing music to work if you're thinking maybe you haven't really got a way to do it, or
right.
You know, like I think it's also important. He joked a lot about the Pretty Kitty Lounge, you know, but that's Jimmy's place.
Yeah.
It's not like, so you don't need like you don't need a nightclub with extravagant, you know, some crowd and recording and you know, this fanfare and whatever.
You can do it on a shoestring.
People really came out and gave, and then some also came to like I said, about 100, 150, and there was no nightclub.
You know, it's
he got more attendance. You know, so like if you're a philanthropic kind of guy, like he got more attendance in his living room than like probably 90% of the parties I ever even go to.
you know, I was just sitting here thinking, it just hit me that like throughout the course of all this, another thing that I did was I put out a mix on Mixcloud, which you can find, and it's Jimmy Kennedy live at the Pretty Kitty Lounge.
I love it.
And I swear people, you know, like that see it that don't know me probably think, man, I keep hearing about this Pretty Kitty Lounge. My girlfriend hates it.
I can't imagine. I can't imagine why.
Yeah.
But in all seriousness,
but
in all seriousness, it definitely was from a appreciation and seriousness standpoint, partly why I wanted you to come and highlight this, because yeah, I mean, giving to education in general, I tweet, post, whatever, quite often about educating people themselves, whatever it is.
Right.
And it was cool that you did it with music and for that cause. And I wanted to thank you for kind of doing that, because a ton of what I see everywhere, even for myself, like it made me even think like, oh, maybe in a way, whether it's music or otherwise, I could think about maybe doing one thing a year.
Yeah.
Where it's pretty selfless.
Yeah.
You know,
and you know, I mean, the thing is, you know, our mom is a high school Latin and English teacher.
Okay.
So, you know, we come from, you know, having a mom that's a teacher, that's an educator. And so that, like, you know, that kind of fits into it also, you know, with them doing so much, you know, education, you know, for schools and stuff like that. You know, that's how we grew up too. But I tell you what, one thing this isn't the last 24-hour pause for the cause.
I hope not, man.
I'm not going to play for 24 hours ever again.
Well, and I even hope, like, that, I mean, you know, it's nothing, just informally, I hope that maybe someone hears this and, you know, there's a wide range of, we've looked before, we get a range of people in the different platforms later, from, you know, 13-year-olds and 14-year-olds from my video game stuff that was popular in that group to just folks our age to millennials, to whatever. It's a spectrum, right? And we never know who will just randomly come across it. So I thought it was important to highlight it.
Well, I think that I've already been given thought to, you know, what we're going to do next time around.
Awesome.
And we're going to do another 24-hour pause for the cause, but instead of it being me playing for 24 hours, I'm going to get a group of, you know, we have so many friends that DJ here in San Diego, and we're going to do it as a group effort, you know, where we may do 24 guys that all DJ an hour each.
Yeah.
Or we do 12 guys that DJ 2 hours each. And instead of it being in one location, we're talking my idea, broad strokes right now, was having it move around the city, you know, where it gets traded off from location to location, where, you know, we could say, like, you know, Matthew Bryan runs House Music Friday.
Yeah.
So it could start at 9 o'clock on Friday at House Music Friday and go from 9 to 2. And then, you know, at 2 o'clock, it would start, they would take over for it at a warehouse somewhere. That would go till the morning.
So kind of have different streams, not per se simultaneous, but in succession, or, you know, you're pretty good with spreadsheets. So you could get that all figured out. And
it would just move around so you could follow the party around.
And maybe there's a central place to follow the next link and the next thing going on.
And that's an idea. And the thing is, we have like
hey, we'll broadcast a segment on the Variety Show.
Yeah, we can do a piece right here.
We'll do it somewhere.
But yeah, I can come here and play harmonica for an hour in here.
Yeah, or maybe we'll have,
maybe not.
Maybe we can have a segment in there where it's like someone like KLMC doing his live paint.
Yeah.
We'll that'll be like the 5 to 6 a.m. section at sunrise.
It's just a dead silent painting session.
We'll make him dress up like that Bob
Ross. Bob Ross.
Kale Bob Ross MC. And this is a half hour of silence.
You just go from techno, and then you have like those lines come across the screen, and then it's just him painting a little tree in a mountain.
Little silent.
As long as you're throwing the anchor out there, you know, it's just let's, you know.
But there's a lot of things we can do, and you know, there's so many friends of mine that also play different genres of music. You know, we can still keep with that theme and play different types of music. You know, doesn't have to be a house thing or a techno thing.
I thought it was cool. Yeah, that's a great point. You mentioned that, because I did want to ask about what next. You mentioned that kind of in broad strokes, like you said, and then that was one thing I actually thought was cool about it, because when the event is centered around you know, a fundraiser for a charity. Again, not a fundraiser for a Burning Man camp, but which is close to white collar crime.
Come on, let's decorate our car,
but
not a charity.
But it's all fun again, but different.
Yeah. We're decorating our car for Burning Man.
It's fun, but different. I wouldn't
help paint it.
It's fun, but different.
It's not a charity.
Listen, if you're
not the Pause for the Cause money does not get shoveled into the ocean.
That's for the kids that will grow up to be burners. Okay.
That's right.
You got to start somewhere.
Teaching 12-year-olds how to be the next generation of burners is not really the education we're talking about.
A little different. I mean, it'd be a lot cheaper to just buy them some weed. Send them all, like, I don't even know how to measure it. I like the horrible weed newbie.
Yeah.
But
some water and
I know you can have micrograms in chocolate.
Yeah. Teaching kids how to properly microdose.
That's
not education. That is not the education we're talking about.
Education.
That is not what we're talking about here, people. This is not what we're talking about.
The point was, with the music, though, was that I thought it was cool because since you had this, people tend to slow down a little when it's raising money for kids, especially whatever the cause is. And I thought that was the center focus, not, you know, is this a house music party? Is this a drum and bass party? Is this a gabber party? Whatever. And at the same time, I also thought it was interesting that so many different people were kind of rolling through and not really concerned about, you know, what maybe the music was at a certain time, or that it was this or that. You know, the branding wasn't the genre, I guess, which is fine at certain times. I just thought this was cool to show that a lot of people do like a lot of music.
Yeah, and it was. And one thing I did do throughout the course of promoting it was trying to have everyone still remember why we're doing it.
Yeah.
You know, like, this is not a 24-hour party. You're like, we're gonna have a lot of fun.
Yeah,
we're gonna dance a lot. We're, you know, I went and bought myself a bottle of Jack Daniels before we started. You know, I mean, it wasn't, you know, it wasn't a turned down event. You know,
by no, means. The patio was popping.
Yeah, and I tell you, and one thing that's great about my place is that the piercing shop and the tattoo shop downstairs, they close at 8 p.m. They don't open until 11 a.m.
Right.
So out of the 24-hour Pause for the Cause, we had 15 hours of it where we could have the Mackie speakers going, where we could be thumping bass and have a good time, and, you know, everybody was dancing and stuff. You know, that was that was pretty cool. I tell you what, one of the best parts was the end of it, where I got down to where I had 1 hour left to go. And at that point, I'm not even tired. You just adrenaline at that point, and the place was packed, and everyone's dancing, and Jaleel and Matthew, they kept getting on the mic, and they were doing like a countdown, like 45 more minutes, 30 minutes. And it was so cool when it got to the end of it. And I thought like at the end of it, I was gonna probably just be like, all right, everybody out, I gotta go to sleep. And but we had so many people there that played, everybody wanted to jump on and play. So it turned into like a.
And you had planned for that a bit, right?
Yeah. I figured people would stick around. Yeah. You know what I didn't plan?
Because there's a DJ with a USB stick.
Yeah.
Like, dude, that's like that's more probable than a homeless person in San Diego.
Yeah. We should probably like throw an over under like when I was done. What's the over-under on how many people were in my house with a USB in their pocket?
Yeah.
Over under 14.
You should maybe check them at the door.
I will say that people kept battling. They're like, dude, can I jump on next? Can I jump on next? When's he going to be done? It's like,
yeah.
Let me tell you the biggest fail of the event, if there were to be a fail, was that I decided it was going to be on Friday and go from Friday at 9 to Saturday at 9. You know what I didn't factor in? I consider myself to be a fairly smart guy. I didn't factor in the fact that I was going to have to work all day on Friday. So the 24-hour pause for the cause.
You didn't even get a disco nap, brother.
The 24-hour pause for the cause kind of turned into the 48-hour pause for the cause, because I got up at like 7 a.m.
Right.
And I did not take a nap. Fridays are always busy.
Saturday,
they
went until Saturday night at 7.
Yeah, and then it went into all the way into Sunday. So early Sunday morning. So
right.
So because everyone else was wanting to play and hang out, I finally had to kick everybody out.
Oh right.
But I didn't plan very well. I didn't think about having to work Friday, and Fridays are always really busy for me. And I could have gotten a nap, that if I was going to, it would have been like a 30-minute nap. And my friend Lisa, she sent me a text and said, "Hey, how about I come over and see you, and let's get some pho before you start."
What did you do for food? Speaking of, like, what did you like? Nourishment, the endurance side of it all.
So before I started, she came over and we hit up the pho place that's right beside my place.
Pho Salbien.
Yeah.
Unofficial sponsor.
Pho Salbien. They didn't know that they were the one that was like fueling me up to start. Thank
They're
you.
The best.
Thank you, Pho Salbien.
Great.
I'm actually more of a pho time guy down in the shopping center than I am Pho Salbien.
Oh, near the Pretty Kitty Lounge.
But right beside the Pretty Kitty
Brazilian wax. Pretty Kitty Brazilian wax. I don't know. There's something a little strange about eaing soup next to a Brazilian wax place.
Not a great combo. But I'm a Pho Point Loma guy. If you're a pho person and you haven't been to Pho Point Loma, it's right there beside all the strip clubs. So
it's near where that crazy sports bar used to be, with the lady right across from the strip bar that closed.
Yeah, I think it's
the sports bar.
I think they're still open, aren't they?
Sports bar closed. It had the Asian lady that would wear heels and spank you.
I was never there, thank God. This is one of those things.
Christie's MVP Sport Lounge.
Yeah, it was
the only place that showed UFC fights on a big screen for free, so I would go over there.
Was the woman that hit you with the broom, Christy?
Yeah, that's why I was saying, like, you would know, like, if you had been there, she's this 5-foot Asian lady that wears these tall heels, like that's her shtick, is to be that, and she walks around with a paddle.
Her shtick is that she beats you with a
stick. She walks around with a paddle and she whacks you. That's what it was.
I don't want to be whacked.
Anyway, they closed down. I don't know why, but it had been there for quite a long time.
I can't believe someone that violently beats people would go.
Probably whack.
I didn't see anybody upset about the lashings.
Thank you, sir. May I have another?
It was right across from one of the strip clubs that's right there.
But
anyway, I get the area. Yes,
there's a strip club in Point Loma.
Yes,
this just in.
That's right.
But we sat down and had pho and some spring rolls, and so I was good to go there. And then
shrimp, veggie,
and then I think they were pork.
Okay.
Deep fried pork, and then I pretty much ate Jack Daniels until morning came around. I just was slowly sipping on a Jack Daniels drink. I don't think I really
So
ate
a
anything.
bowl of pho is like your only meal?
Well, it was a lot. I mean, I had a big bowl of pho and some egg rolls, and then when it got to be morning time, my buddy Drew and his wife and our buddy Michael, they all came over and they brought me a breakfast burrito.
I'm gonna bring you a bagel next time.
I'm gonna bring a bagel with locks. Thank God.
If it's at the same spot, I'm gonna swing by like
Bring him
Brugger's bagels over there and bring you like one of those Mexican Fiesta bagels they have. They're pretty good.
Well, you know the thing is, I really love bagels. I realize that there's absolutely like zero nutritional value behind them.
Actually, this may be.
But God, they're good.
This may be a new fact for you.
And everything bagel with just regular cream cheese is a delight for me.
I will tell you this. So a lot of people who run do eat bagels specifically because they're very high in calories, and they're not bad for you. If you get like one that's not like just the plain white, super enriched flour and maybe a bunch of added like blueberry flavored sugar. Okay, that let's leave the Captain Crunch bagel we leave out. But if you get a bagel that's baked like by a baker that makes bread kind of guy or person, and then it's a whole grain, 7 grain, even regular white sourdough, whatever, those kind of bagels, and everything is just putting the salt and stuff on, right? But yeah, people eat them because they're kind of neutral. They don't like shake around your stomach. And you get a good like 500-600 calories out of a big fat bagel, and then you can go run marathon. So that's why I think it makes sense. Maybe I'll bring you a bagel next time.
Oh, look at that.
Now that I've thrown off your train of thought, what else?
Yeah.
What else about the?
So the other thing about food, and I have to give a huge shout out. There were so many like cool things that happened, but there are certain things that like stand out in my memory as like highlights. And one of the highlights is that across the street diagonally from where I live, there's a little shopping center. You know the one I'm talking about that has the Subway and the Domino's.
Yeah.
Well, there was a Thai place down in the corner that went out of business, and it turned into a taco joint called Cool.
Yep.
There's like cool tacos.
Right.
And Erman and Michelle are the owners of this place. And they quite possibly might be like the 2 nicest people I've ever met. But on top of that, dude is just wrecking shit with the product. I mean, their burritos are amazing. Their tacos out of this world. I mean, it's a small, tiny place in this corner, and like when there's a line, it takes you a little while to get your food.
Yeah,
you might be waiting for 20 minutes, but it is worth it. And like I just pulled it up here on Facebook, 42 reviews, and it's got 5.0 rating.
Awesome.
I mean, the place is great, and you can go in there on Taco Tuesday, and I think you
Cool. What's the name of it?
TACUL Cool. They got a real cool too. But on Tuesday you can go in
You
there.
have to. You kind of have to.
Yeah.
If that's your name, dude.
If you're
you gotta put money in the logo.
You're Cool and your logo sucks. It's really boring.
Then you're just a tool.
Yeah, they got this skeleton eating a taco. It's pretty dope. But like I think on Tuesdays it's like you can get like 6 street tacos and a drink for like $8 or something too. I mean it's yeah, it's badass, man. It might be $9 now, but I don't know. But here's the highlight that I was talking about. So I'm sitting there playing or whatever, and it's getting into the evening. I think it might still be light out, but there's a knock on my door, and someone opens up my door, and there's Erman, and he's got a bag of food, and he's like, "Hey, I brought you your favorite seafood burrito," because I've got this seafood burrito that I order there that's not on the menu. One day, I was in a big hurry, so I just ran in there and I put $10 down on the counter, and I said, "Erman, make me the best burrito that you can for $10. I'll be back in 10 minutes." Because I was running an errand, and so I came back and he just came up with a seafood burrito.
Oh, nice.
Shrimp and squid and fish, along with like beans and rice and this.
It's
like crack addiction sauce the sauce that he puts in there, and
well, there are some people posting pictures like, and it's kind of a Mexican or some sort of Spanish word-ish hybrid. It's TA with a apostrophe and then CUL.
Right.
But I don't know what the origin is. But anyway, if you look for that, you'll see some photos online. Stuff looks Awesome.
But I'm not going to do my like Hispanic accent because I'm awful at accents. That's why I didn't do it a second
Because you're
ago.
not Spanish.
Because of one, I'm not from Mexico. First of all, I've never been confused with like I'm from Mexico.
It's not. I can see that.
And the other thing is that one of the funniest things about me is when I try to do a Hispanic accent, I end up sometimes doing an Asian accent instead. It's just awful. So I'm not a guy that does voices and accents clearly. But when he came in, he brought that burrito and he said that they were streaming because like I was streaming it live on Facebook, and he said that they were playing it over at the restaurant. So like they played the 24-hour pause for like 3 hours at the restaurant, which was cool. He's like, the music's great, we're listening to it.
Do you know a guy named Jack Elgin?
That's what I was talking about earlier. Jack was the one.
So he's the one with all the photos for Takul online. Yeah. So Jack, you get a shout out, brother.
Yeah, Jack. Yeah.
It looks like a fun guy, dude.
He is a fun guy. It's his birthday this weekend.
That's awesome.
And I'm going to be out with him for his birthday this week. His birthday falls on this Sunday.
He's in the beard
So
club.
it's not only April Fool's Day, but it's also Easter. He's got kind of a pretty cool birthday, right?
Yeah.
But so I'm gonna be hanging out with him. But yeah, he's the one that I said kept always checking in at the pretty kitty Brazilian waxing.
Okay. Oh, that's him.
He's the reason. He's the reason.
Well, I thought I recognized the name because I don't know him.
Yeah. So every Tuesday I do Taco Tuesday Radio with Matthew Bryan, Jesse Austin, and Jack Elgin.
From your place?
Sometimes we did it at my place. Sometimes we did it at Jesse's studio at his house. And it's not all four of us every week. We gotta have you come play with us.
I'm down. What about the record? Speaking of that, and your Pause for the Cause night, did you record? Did you stream?
I streamed it on Facebook for a long time, and then
does that record or does that go away?
I think it stays on there. Like I just went on the Pause for the Cause page, and it's still, the video's still on there.
Oh, it is.
I don't think the sound quality is that great. So
it's not like a live recording.
Yeah,
it's like the room.
It's a little distorted, so it's not the best, but. At one point, I think at the end of it, when we were almost done, I think we had probably about 15 or 20 people that were listening in, from around the country, which is
nice.
Cool. But
that's like that's like 20. That's like 19 times what we get here. But not counting Kelly.
Yeah, but the thing.
Kelly, did we have any live listeners today?
Yeah.
We did. All right.
Hi,
everyone.
I somehow I was trying to record some of it, and I had some kind of technical issue that I wasn't sure what was going on. And so I kind of just said, you know what? I'm not worried about it.
All right.
I was like, I'm just going to have fun with it.
That complicates things.
Yeah. I was like, I'm trying to like worry about the recording and like some other things. And I was trying to type messages to people on the Facebook Live also. And at the same time, mix music and talk.
This is why we do this.
It just became like I was doing too much, and I was like, you know what? I'm not going to record any of this. I was like, it's, who knows? Maybe there was an hour in there that was the best I've ever played. But you know what? We'll keep playing, and I'll do it again.
Yeah, it is why, like, from the very beginning, like the mission here has been to not do any pre or post production.
Yeah, right.
Well, and then we're not stressed about anything. There's no like, oh, this or that or language or whatever.
But
all that. So.
But the one thing I'll tell you is I'll talk with you like after this when you're done. But have you come over and play on a Taco Tuesday?
It's the most frequent live visitor. I wanted to see this hair.
Yay!
Amazing.
How are you, man?
We're podcasting. Come show your hair.
Fun.
How are you? I'm Jimmy.
Good
Good to see you. How are you?
This is come on in.
What's in?
You're on. Yeah, come on in.
Oh, there I am.
That's
Hi.
Kelly. You saw Kelly before.
Hi, Kelly.
That's you.
Yay!
Check out the new hair.
Nice.
This is Autumn Love.
Yeah, what's going on? What are you doing in here?
Well, so this is Jimmy Kennedy, and he's famous, and he's hanging out here in our art studios and music studios.
Hardly famous.
He did local DJ musician like myself sometimes, and he did a thing called Pause for the Cause, where he DJ'd for 24 hours straight and raised $2,400 for
25.
He raised $2,500. Goal was $2,400, but for a music for children's education.
Wow,
Like
that's
last month or something.
amazing.
Yeah, awesome, right?
It's like mid-February.
Yeah,
Thank you.
yeah,
Welcome.
totally.
Yeah. It's really cool.
We're on YouTube right now talking about it.
Live on YouTube talking about it. Yeah,
That's amazing.
yeah. We're gonna have you on soon.
I'm here now.
To come, I know. You've been on twice now. You've been on twice now. We need you to come on though and bring like all your art. We could just shift over to your spot and do it there.
Hey?
Can you do that?
Yeah, but
Sometime?
I don't have all the wires in there.
Oh, it's easy. In fact, because now all this is just the craziness that's in my brain, as I've been told today. Kelly says that this place looks like what the inside of my brain probably looks like. That's what she says.
Yes.
Yeah, probably.
Yeah.
But all we really need
I
is...
totally understood you more once I saw your space.
Yeah, we would just take... All we need is to take this and that camera and go to your spot.
Wow.
Where inspiration is found. That's right. You got to take a quick peek over there. Sorry, folks that are listening now or in the future. Jimmy's got to take a quick look at Autumn's art space. Just take a look, dude.
Right, I'll be back.
Quick look. Kelly, what can we talk about while we're having an intermission? Potty break.
Potty break.
Wait a minute. I know what I'll do is I'll show you Autumn's bike while she's not on it. This is Autumn's bike.
Oh, that's awesome.
It is awesome. She doesn't even know how she's never been to Burning Man. She has no idea how Burning Man she is already.
Oh my
Yeah.
God.
Like women.
If I come to the show.
My bike's being showed to millions online right now. Oh my gosh. It's so
Awesome.
bashful.
Yeah, how's that studio?
Oh, it's great.
All right, well, good to see you. We're going to do it over there sometime.
Okay.
All right.
Bye.
What's your name?
Kelly.
Bye.
You're awesome.
Have a good night.
Bless you.
All right, man. Oh, I know what I was going to ask you was about the Pause for the Cause name. How'd you come about that? Because I was looking, and you find other stuff with that similar name.
You know what? There was a radio station in Pittsburgh. I'm not a San Diego native.
Is anybody?
Yeah.
If you're a San Diego native and you hear this ever, please let us know. Colin is young. Colin's a San Diego native.
But it was in Pittsburgh. I think it was. There was a radio station, and every day at 4:20, they did the 4:20 Pause for the Cause.
Oh,
yeah,
right.
and then they played a good stoner jam.
Right.
And so like I just from years of having that 4:20 Pause for the Cause, 4:20 Pause for the Cause. I guess it was just stuck in my head, and so I just made it the 24-hour Pause for the Cause.
That makes sense.
Yeah, I think that's how I got it.
Your twist on it is the 24. Yeah, because I saw a pause for the THA cause and some things, but there's nothing like massively like, I don't know if corporate's the right word, but there's nothing massively organized out there that's using that name that I saw like when I did general searches and stuff.
Right.
But yeah, that's awesome, man.
It's funny. I just had a buddy of mine just send me a message. My buddy Johnny, that's up in Portland. So we definitely have someone in Portland that's listening to us right now. And watching us.
Hi, Portland.
Hey, Johnny, how are you?
Great beer. Great beer. Love your beer.
He's actually shared some time with me on the tables at the Pretty Kitty Lounge. He's a big fan of the PKL. We also just abbreviate it because it starts to be a mouthful. So we just call it the PKL most of the time. So Johnny, looking forward to having you down.
Pretty Kitty Lounge starts to be a mouthful. Woo!
But I'll say, Johnny, I'm looking forward to seeing you over Memorial Day weekend down here at the PKL. So he's a really good DJ also, and he's been putting out some good music lately. He's a great producer too. So hopefully we'll get a chance to meet him.
Awesome. One thing I was going to mention outside of your legit cause.
Now we're going to talk about my illegitimate activity.
All the illegitimate children. This is the section of the show where the girlfriends, I hope, aren't listening now.
This becomes the NC-17.
That's right. Yeah. We've already checked that box on YouTube in general. So there's a flag there. But on a slightly related note, but not giving money for those kind of causes. You ever been to Burning Man doing that kind of stuff? Or
I have not been to Burning Man. I've played at Utopia.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
So
the official San Diego regional burn.
Yeah, the official San Diego burn. And I had a blast. I had a great time.
Yeah.
I've never been to Burning Man.
Do you know the vibe?
Yeah, I do know the vibe. It's funny. There's certain things I haven't been to. I haven't been to Burning Man, and I haven't been to Coachella.
All right.
I haven't been to either of those things.
Did you know John Wesley, right?
Oh yeah.
Did you see the fucking flyer for Coachella? Yes. That is the absolute. Kelly, Google real quick. John Wesley Coachella. You probably find it.
Yeah.
Or at least Facebook, and you'll probably find it because he's connected.
He had some kind of app that we have to.
Do we have to find it?
I'll find it. Well, we're gonna have to show everybody.
For whatever effort he put into that, he deserves it.
Yeah, it's basically the flyer.
Yeah,
I've got it.
Well, people that aren't from the West Coast may not be as familiar as we are with the style of it, which is pretty weak in my opinion. Yeah, dude, throw that up. This is classic, dude.
Can you see it?
Yeah, you can see the little thumbnail down here.
Yeah.
Yeah, so he's basically showing a picture
the whole thing
of the legit Coachella flyer, but the guy stripped out all the 400 talents and 5 font sizes and just put his name in all the slots.
Yeah, it's just John Wesley. Like every stage is John Wesley. And
I told him he probably got more promotion out of that than everyone who's playing at the actual party.
I think there's actually a thing like he posted it. It's createlineup.com.
Oh, okay.
So you can actually HTTP createlineup.com. So you can go on there and you can do it yourself.
I love what it's become.
Because when he said that he posted that you could go on to createlineup.com and do it. I wanted to go and do it myself and put it as like my wallpaper on Facebook, but I was like, dude, he just did one of the funniest, like creative, like awesomely like great ideas. I was like, I can't poach that. I can't poach
even if it was like an app that did it. It's done. John Wesley killed it. He crushed it,
dude. He's
crushing Coachella.
Yeah, he's everywhere. Fucker.
That was totally amazing.
Yeah, I couldn't steal it from him. I wanted to so bad and make it my wallpaper, especially with Coachella coming up. But
I went once. It was cool. It was fun. I think if you're, if you come out to California or you just moved here, which was the case when I had come out, I don't know, like 6-7 years ago when I was down in San Diego. I was in Northern California before that, but yeah, we had a good time. I went with a buddy. We camped in the parking lot. We did the whole thing by the book. With all the things they offer, camping and whatever, which is very different than like any other kind of camping ever. And it was a good time. Like we met fun people. You're camped up like super tight quarters in like 8 square feet with everybody else. And it just is what it is. It was a good time. But what I was going to say about Burning Man, and this is a legit opportunity for some people, a different kind of volunteering, and you may not know this, Jimmy. I don't think I ever talked to you about it, but I've been 4 times. Kelly's been a few times as well. And first couple times I went, I was part of a camp that Camp Charlie. You might have been to one of their parties down here where they do their camp fundraisers. And last year, I from people who I met through Camp Charlie, I went with a different camp. Big Imagination. You're probably familiar with the 747 project thing being dragged out there.
Yeah.
And so
that picture was great today.
Yeah. And so there's all kinds of it's a very, very big in terms of number of people and money that goes into it to make it happen. And it's a big camp in terms of Burning Man in general. And so I'm not my point is not to promote that as much as just it is a large project, and so it is not, it is not raising money for children's music education, for example. But I'm an engineer kind of guy and a gadget guy, so it is among things I've run into at Burning Man for the kind of things I'm into. It is a unique opportunity and project to work on. I helped them. I actually went out for 3 weeks. I was there to help take it out there last year. I can put it together.
It's amazing to me the amount of work and time that people put into their camps out there.
It's wild,
and not just the amount of time, just how awesome the stuff is that people put out. I mean, it's not like all rickety, like strung together stuff. I mean,
there's some of that, but there's also some, not.
But there's some really impressive stuff that people put together that I'm just blown away. I'm like, dude, people put this all out there. Like iron skeleton, coming out of the ground, but it's 200 feet tall.
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, how long did it take? I mean, it's really a work of art.
Yeah, and so this thing is, it's a,
and every single person has a picture of it on Facebook.
Yeah, it's a different kind of project. This thing, it's not particularly original art. It's a different kind of project. It's a lot of engineering that I think maybe people don't realize. They really have to put a ton of time into safety and being careful with all these things that happen. And just organizing it and getting the money raised to do it.
You just can't have a 747 go flopping over on people.
Right. And there are like 1,000 or more. They've got a list of them somewhere. But if you go to bigimagination.org, you can find the website.
Good. I thought you were going to say big.
And the reason I'm mentioning is because they are always in need of volunteers. And I think one of the things that some folks when they think about Burning Man and camps and all these fundraisers and whatnot, I think that sometimes some people maybe think that they have to be like, wear a boa and the unicorn suit, which is a lot of fun if you're into that, right?
Don't you?
Right, yeah.
That's part of the fun of it. I'm always impressed not only with the stages and the camps, but I'm always like interested and impressed with the amount of work and stuff that people put into that.
Absolutely, but there are some unique things going on that do require, for example, skills that people that do dress up and all that and fully participate may be into, but also quite often there's like skills missing that they need.
Right.
And a great example, I'll give you a great example. So
like collaborate.
Well, so I've met people, for example, that are out for this particular project. I've met people, for example, that have like a career in structural metalworking. So they're helping.
Not me.
Right. So they're helping design, like the articulating staircase that's required to come down from the deck of the 747 to the ground, so that when this thing is rolling, because this year it's going to be rolling as an art car.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, with the landing gear and everything. So they had to design these stairs so that they could come up when it moves and then go down and roll, and all this. Yeah, so this is a sophisticated project
This is at a music festival.
Yeah,
by the way.
Yeah,
there's a rolling 747 rolling through your party.
Right.
Okay.
And so the people that are
we
involved,
gotta get that at the next 24-hour pause for the cause. We need a 747. Yeah. That's what we were missing.
So the people that are involved with that, they, for example, didn't really want to go to Burning Man, but they want to they're interested in just doing something with this kind of thing. So I'm mentioning it now because I've posted a few times various things and I haven't gotten into detail. This is just a little bit more detail. If you're a handy person, if you're engineering inclined, if you just want to go out and learn about stuff, and your talent is serving lemonade, whatever, they need a lot of people to help, because there's just a lot of things to go on. It's not a charity to fix hunger. It's to bring a 747 out into the desert as an art car.
I finally came up with the term volunteers. Volunteers.
So they do need volunteers.
It's not a charitable donation.
That's right.
You're volunteering.
And I'm just being clear that we are not confusing today volunteering for a charity with volunteering for Burning Man.
Yeah.
But nonetheless, it's damn fun.
Yeah, this is Burning Man. It's not the American Heart Association.
Yeah, that's right. And I will tell you, if you go out and camp, you could go out to the Mojave. Oh, by the way, location may help. So the plane and its fun currently are in the Mojave Desert. So that's kind of in a couple hours from LA if you're in that kind of area. But hit me up, hit up the webpage. I can help get you with the right people if you're interested in that kind of thing. You don't have to go to Burning Man and buy a ticket and all that. That deters some people because it's expensive. And if you just want to hang out, I went out and volunteered a few times in Mojave. Nothing to do with being on Playa. And there was a lot of people out there, and they were just from like local areas, interested in checking it out, and we built benches, for example. There's all kinds of shit to be done.
And you can also cruise right down to Lindbergh Field. You can check out a 747.
Dude, I went
if that's your thing.
I went to the SR-71 Blackbird Museum.
Yeah.
Who would ever do that?
You would.
For any other reason.
You would.
I would. But I didn't even know the thing existed. The SR-71 Blackbird Museum. It's really cool.
I think like the older I get, the less I'm surprised about the stuff that I hear. I'm pretty sure there's probably a museum for some of the most bizarre and random things that you've ever heard in your life. There's probably a museum from almost anything. I mean,
Oh, by the way, folks, if you Google for mouthful pretty kitty lounge, I'm just gonna leave it right there. Go ahead.
Yeah, Kelly, if you named any kind of hobby, I bet if I looked it up, there's a museum.
Well, here's what I think is great. Literally,
get off the
literally, if you
lounge,
type in mouthful pretty kitty lounge.
Why do you want mouthful on there?
Wait a minute, because you said it earlier, and I just combined the two, and I'm not kidding you. It literally comes up with the Pretty Kitty Lounge in Pacific Beach.
Yeah, it's a real thing.
I don't get the association, but it's a real thing.
You want to know the thing that's
They've got the word mouthful on their search engine optimization.
someone's bidding on mouthful.
They're bidding on the word mouthful combined with pretty kitty.
Just keep on clicking on the link.
I can't imagine that's more than $1.
Just keep clicking on it. We'll keep driving up their costs.
Okay, all right, hold on. They have a Pretty Kitty ASU art museum.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah,
I just proved you right.
I bet there's
it's in Arizona.
What I also think is funny is in the same first page of results, if you scroll down a little bit, is the Christian Union Book Association.
Yeah.
Kind of different.
Yeah.
Right.
What
else is going on?
We've had some really accomplished DJs at the Pretty Kitty Lounge for all the jokes that we talked about. I mean, last year after the West Coast weekend, like Oliver Dollar was there.
We're all about San Diego music history.
Oliver Dollar. I mean, he was
last minute replacement. There was some problem with Butch.
Yeah, and he didn't show up as the last minute replacement.
Who, Oliver?
Yeah, he wasn't able to make it either. So
Oliver couldn't either.
No.
Really?
Yeah, I don't know the whole story behind it, but it was like Butch couldn't make it for whatever reason, and then Oliver Dollar make it. So they pulled in. I forget.
There have been some problems in the entertainment business with reliability.
There's been some.
Like, I don't know why it ever surprises anybody. There's reliability problems.
So this just in the entertainment industry. Sometimes people do not show up.
Dude, I've told for years. I've told people like I'm convinced that a majority of the repeat gigs that I get are because I actually show up and do everything
right.
that I said I was going to do.
It's amazing how that works in life.
And
right?
I don't come with excuses, you know, like or arguing over $10 in gas money.
Yeah.
Just get there and play, dude.
Yeah. My current
or a cheeseburger.
My current rider is quite short.
Yeah, where's my M&M?
Just when I show up, if you give me like a few drink tickets, I think we're good to go.
Dude, I'm sure you've heard a lot of excuses. I've heard so many excuses, dude. And I say excuses because it's shit that would not fly in the organized, let's say, corporate world. Fine. One is not the other. It's entertainment, art, music. But dude, I mean, boyfriend breakups, lost my driver's license, so, got locked out of my apartment, all the typical, got a flat. No, dude, like get there.
Yeah.
Find a way.
Yeah. I mean,
find a way, play the music for the fans that came to hear you, and then go deal with your shit.
This isn't the Super Bowl halftime show, and I still showed up here 15 minutes early. And I showed up with a 6-pack of Belching Beaver peanut butter stout for us to drink.
Yeah, by the way, folks, this guy did it in style.
Yeah,
future variety show guest.
Yeah, by the way, I'm putting the bar a little bit higher. I'm raising it here. Next guests that come on here, I mean, you're gonna have to come correct here because I showed up with a 6-pack.
46th episode. That's right, man.
40. Yeah.
You're episode 46. The game is. We're gonna give you a grace period until 50, but after episode 50.
Yeah, I'm just trying to do everything I can not to embarrass myself and get invited back. That whole invited back thing.
The invited back that's where you. That's where not that you made it, but that's where you're not an asshole.
Have you ever been told when you played somewhere where they go, yeah, we're really looking forward to having you back, and you know that they're not being honest.
Totally, dude. Great set. You're like, dude, it was the worst set I ever played.
They go, dude, that was a great set. Can't wait to have you back. And you walk on, and you go, so that's the last time I'm playing that one.
Dude, that's like when I don't know maybe about current times, but like I definitely know, like, say 10 years back, if you're a guy and you're like dating a girl, and then she comes out, she's like, no, I'll pay this time. It it's over, bro.
Yeah.
Just enjoy that one,
Yeah.
and then start planning for the rest of your future.
I hope you got the ribeye.
Oh no, I got this one. Oh, that's strange. Thanks, honey.
Get ready to prepare your story about why she was
The
weird.
the numbers disconnected the next day. I'm sure it happens with ladies too. I mean, to be fair.
Yeah, to be perfectly fair.
To be perfectly fair.
Yeah, this
I'm sure it happens both directions. Hey, but back to the guests that have come through.
Yeah.
You were going to comment, and you've been in. How long have you been in San Diego?
I moved here on New Year's Eve, so it was just over 6 years ago. So I've been here like 6 years.
So
3 months.
drop a little San Diego music knowledge. Some people, some venues, whatever stuff you like.
Stuff I like.
Yeah.
Well,
a lot of people come here obviously as tourists or from other places.
People
and they like to know things.
San Diego's a tourist destination.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're talking about.
Well, they come for the beer, but if they listen to this, they might get to go to a good party.
I swear, when I moved here, for the longest time, I didn't think I was ever going to meet anyone that was from here. Yeah, I'm like, oh, were you born and raised in San Diego? They're like, no, Madison, Wisconsin.
Like it's typical.
Yeah, Chicago, Illinois, Twin Cities, Minnesota.
Cold places.
Yeah, and then finally I'd meet someone. They're like, yeah, I am from here. I'm like, oh yeah, you're from here? Where are you from? They're like, El Centro. I'm like, that's not really from here either.
Reel it in, Jimmy. Some DJs that came through the Kitty Lounge.
Yeah. Well, I mean, you can sit there and name, every person pretty much that plays here locally. As far as nights that I like a lot.
Well, who are some DJs you like in San Diego?
I like. I play with Matthew Bryan.
You enjoy it.
Matthew Bryan, who runs House Music Friday at the AC Lounge.
Yep.
I love listening to Matthew play. He's one of the most animated guys.
I like that party.
And House Music Friday has been going every Friday at the AC Lounge for 2 years now.
Cool.
And he gets some really, really great guests in there.
Neat little space. Fair door people. Fair bar.
Yeah,
I like it.
It's a cool spot, and it's a comfortable spot too. When you walk in there, you just like you feel right at home.
Yeah, absolutely.
But I give a lot of credit to Joe P and Andy Gomez, and previously Ryan Bauer, who moved away to Vegas, but Vegas, I think.
Dance classic or classic?
Yeah.
How do you
classic?
Classic.
Dance classic.
Okay.
Yeah, and
and Killer Tacos next door.
Oh yeah, you got
no disrespect. It's not cool, but dude, that place next door is
don't
fun.
Don't worry. I already got my bid in for.
You did.
Cool.
That was earlier.
I already got a free burrito.
They all left the show. Oh, you mentioned we got the burrito.
Yeah. So,
awesome, dude.
As soon as we moved on,
that's awesome, dude.
They went back to making burritos. So
perfect.
I don't care about me anymore.
They're like, he's done. He gets his credit.
Yeah. But yeah, Dance Classics. That's a great one. I mean, Joe's had. Joe and Andy, they've had so many good guys come through there. I think those are.
That's what happens to you at the taco place next to. If you go there enough, I think I showed this last week when my mom was on. But if you go there enough, they give you these hats, and you put on these lucha libre hats.
The other thing that's right around the corner, coming soon is Soleil. Soleil's going to be back.
Oh, okay. Do they now? So I think I went once. I guess I was a little confused as to whether it was a party, a crew,
You've been to Soleil one time?
Yeah, dude. Like for me, between Kelly may have to help me out with the years here, but between like
see, this is what happened when you get to be Wes's age, you can't remember.
Yeah, dude. Between 2015, 16, 17, and definitely 2015, 16, like dude, with music stuff, I was gone every weekend. All the time. Right? Yeah. And she was helping, like, was that about accurate, Kelly?
Yeah, I'd say so. Mm-hmm. Like
insane. And then in 2017, I started to like just not pursue as much stuff or not get invited back.
Killer said, bro.
Fair. I have no problem with it. And and explore some other things. And so yeah, I really got to start spending more time. Through a couple little parties myself in San Diego, had a lot of these guys we're talking about, at least Joe and Sonia and whatnot, come play them. Do day things like we did 4 of them. Colin, Evlo, mix up the genres and everything.
I love those guys, by the way.
Yeah,
the whole United by Bass.
Yeah, great things.
All of them. Rita, I'll give him a shout out. Those guys gave me the opportunity to open for Sidney Charles and Sante. Nice. spin.
Yeah.
Towards the end of last year, I think it was like November.
Yeah.
And like Cindy Charles has been like a big influence on like the music I play.
Yeah.
And like those guys like letting me like open up that party. That was a big big deal for me.
And you played this one, smaller party, but you played this one.
Oh yeah, that was.
We both played that.
Oh, did we both play that?
I didn't see
no, you
played.
played after me. I went and I said hello to you afterwards.
I know. Well, that's possible.
Yeah, I did. I went over and I said hi, but you didn't really know me.
There's Jimmy. There's Jimmy in the day.
Yeah.
At a DJing in the daytime at a We Love Bass.
We Love
it
Bass.
was actually a couple promoters throwing that out at Balboa Park.
Yeah, that was. Yeah,
but yeah, that's kind of my San Diego music history.
Is that like deep end?
Yeah. That's kind of my San Diego, I guess music, history was that I've lived here for a while, but I didn't have the time to go out. I was always gone and doing other things. And, and it kind of goes in line with me starting to have a lot more people that I met in San Diego, on here, hang out, talk a little bit, promote myself, promote them, all that stuff. Have a good chat. So yeah.
Well, the other thing, what I was saying was, I just pulled it up because I just saw it on Facebook yesterday. Is Sunday, May 27th. That's Memorial Day weekend. That Sunday is the season 8 opening for Soleil. So they've been for 8 years.
I thought it had been a while.
But the headline.
And it's spelled SOULIEEIL. Yeah. If you type in Soleil, I guess that's or Soleil. San Diego.
Yep.
You will find it.
Yeah, they've got a lot of followers on Facebook.
Who's behind that?
It is Chris Herrera, DJ Allah, and Mikey Town.
And Chris is like a staple.
Yeah,
San Diego.
And Omar Pereza was when they started. Omar was also was part of Soleil, but had other things that he pursued. But I know Omar is going to be playing at House Music Friday this Friday, so check that out.
That's how you spell it, folks. In case anyone's interested, you can go there and see.
Yeah, May 27th is their opener, and they're going to have McGill Mix. So
awesome.
They got a pretty dope opener coming up, so that's something to definitely check out. It'll be at the World Beat Center.
Awesome.
You're right. This show is about. I wasn't even trying to promote stuff, but you're right. We just keep going. We're just promoting one thing after the other.
I also have to say. I as I met people like Joe and Sonia and others, really like I was probably one of the first people that was definitely a couple of the first like San Diego music people that I met that I had time to go hang out. They took me to events was like Genevieve.
Yeah.
She did her a few nights for a while. Yeah. And Brian Millar, of course, Skandar. Brian Despot. So that crew was like some of the first. In fact, Brian Millar and the Brian that did Wobble Parties, that Brian, and then Brian Despot and Skandar. Those were probably the first people I met here, and so they dragged me into like desert things and this and that, and that kind of led me down the Burning Man rabbit hole.
Right.
Yeah, and so I was involved with that, and then all that stuff, like I said, and then I met Joe. Because he kind of crosses into a lot of the Burning Man stuff and Desert Hearts and these things and whatnot. And so
next thing you know, you got to roll.
Well, then I was going to some of those events and I hit up Oscar P and was like, hey man, this West Coast Weekender thing's awesome. Like, can I love to speak. I spoke on a panel things.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, and that's kind of just what I do with West Coast Weekender. But then I started meeting the other house people. I just didn't know there was that much house in San Diego because that's not like my core thing that I listen to or play. But man, you're right. I started going to some of these events and I was like, these are great events.
I tell you what too. And I mean, the just over 6 years that I've lived here, originally some of it I thought was just because I didn't know, but then I got involved with stuff. Just how much the music landscape has changed in San Diego, in the last 5 years. I mean, there's more music nights. I mean, pretty much every night, if you want to go out and listen to music, there's live music somewhere.
It's out of control. I have a hard time picking.
I hear people talk about like, hey, I'm trying to plan this event, and there's 2 other events.
Well, even tonight, they're bringing back the Broken Beat. Is that what it's called? Were you familiar with that before? I wasn't. apparently they had a break. I think I read about
the broken beat.
About a 6-year break. Well,
so makes sense.
Right?
It was already broken.
So that would have been before you, as well as before me. Like I didn't really have much understanding of San Diego at that time. So, but apparently they're relaunching tonight at it's fairly close. It's kind of over near AC Lounge, air conditioned lounge. Yeah, it's at something over near there.
Okay,
I'll find it real quick. I'm probably gonna go over there. I'll give them a shout out. You going out tonight?
I'm not sure what I'm doing. Just man, I'm just trying to get through here without stuttering and embarrassing myself.
Let me find this thing. Broken Beat Night SD at Space Bar.
Space Bar.
You ever been there?
Is that like Space Visa?
Well, it's spelled. It's in all caps. So I got to tell you, at first I was a little scared.
Yeah,
but
here's a little English lesson. Stop using all caps and stop using excessive exclamation.
You know, maybe
marks.
it had something to do with the party back in the day. I don't know.
That's
I don't know anything about it, so I'm just going to be like.
But remember, I was talking, Kelly. Remember, I was talking about like pet peeves that drive me insane. It's all caps and excessive punctuation. Like you don't have to do all caps and 8 exclamation marks for me to know that you're excited. I got it.
But look, for a party that's.
And do you need 3 question marks? 1 question mark. I got it. It's a question.
We got that.
It's a question.
It's not as questionable. So
I'm pretty sure I do that. Sorry.
For a party on a Thursday night and in San Diego, you know, I mean, they got their invite out. There's obviously people interested. You know, 230 something interested, 148 going in terms of Facebook kind of stuff. You know, and you know, that's a decent number for a Thursday night party here. That is, you know, not just a general like a a bar crawl or something like that. And there's a lot of history on there. I wanted to note it because Brandon from Moon Tribe, you know him?
Not very well.
So he came as a surprise guest with who did he come with, Kelly? Mayad. His music creation, his producer name is Mayad. It was either with Gus Dia Break or with it was somebody from San Diego brought him in and he was just hanging out.
Okay.
Yeah. So anyway, it was this year. It was definitely 2018, Kelly. So it was one of those episodes.
It was with Gus. Yeah.
It was with Gus then. Okay. So yeah. So anyway, so he talked a lot about his music and Tribe and all that, and I think it's something that Moon Tribe is behind. So
okay.
There's a lot of people that I have a lot of respect for that are totally like saying good things, like Payam and Joe and Skandar, Idea, Brian Despot, a lot of people we mentioned. You might know Maria Poppins. It's Brandon Vasquez is the Brandon I'm talking about.
Okay.
But there's definitely a lot of people that you see in a lot of these things that are, into all the musics.
All of them.
So anyways, I'm gonna head over there tonight for a little bit.
Yeah,
I'm gonna check it out, support them.
Yeah, I'm not sure. I've got some things I need to take care of this evening, but I also I know
You gotta run by the clinic.
This is the part of the show where I do my.
Oh right, we gotta call you out today, dude.
I'm a real adult with responsibilities. I gotta get that out there. So
we're gonna do it at the end. We're calling you out.
Yeah.
What's the adulting shit?
Oh, I have. Well, the reason
you don't have to.
No, I'll tell you what.
I know you skipped work.
I left work today to go to the Padres home opener. For
how many years running?
I've been to 19 straight home openers in baseball. It was pretty cool growing up. I had a really, really older grandmother. My family grew up in Detroit, and my grandmother used to tell me about watching Ty Cobb play baseball.
Oh shit!
Like, I mean, that's pretty crazy. I was like, dude, I didn't think there was anyone alive that actually had seen Ty Cobb play. But I was related.
That's like really old. She's well preserved.
Yeah. So my grandmother was 342 years old when she passed.
She was a witch.
But anyway, she used to tell me about going to watch Ty Cobb play. And then my mom told me about skipping high school to go to opening day of Tigers baseball. And I told him, I said, I'm
just showing Ty Cobb for anyone that's watching. If you just see the pictures and realize how old that is.
Yeah, he's super old.
They're like half of the images that come up are like pencil sketches because they didn't have film.
It's like on paper with coal.
Yeah, they're like etchings of the one bronze statue of Ty Cobb.
They're using pieces of coal out of the fire to draw pictures of this guy.
Yeah.
But anyway, I told my grandmother and my mom, I said, if I'm ever in a city that has a professional baseball team, I'll never miss an opening day. And I moved to Pittsburgh, and I went to 15 Pittsburgh opening days, a couple of which I flew back for after I moved here, and then there's been 4 Padres openings after today. So I skipped out of work for a couple hours to go to opening day because I don't miss it. So I need to go kind of tidy.
Now
up
you've been that many times for the Padres? No,
I've been to 15 Pirates, 4 Padres.
All right.
But 19 years in a row. So
and they both start with the same letter, so you can.
and they both have really shitty payrolls and really bad teams. So yeah,
I was actually going to ask if the Padres are still considered professional.
When I moved out here from Pittsburgh and I moved out here, I was like, oh, now I've got the Padres, and I was like, oh god, I got the same team.
Kelly, how do you feel about professional baseball?
Well, the Three Rivers Stadium is the only stadium I've gone to for baseball, so they're going to
which is great because they blew it up in 2000.
I know.
Jimmy, to give you the idea of the demographic of the variety show, the only other guest we've ever had on here that has mentioned a professional sport is my mother.
Well,
that was last week.
I mean, I'm extremely passionate about music, but the same way about sports. I mean, you can't be from Pittsburgh and not be a huge sports fan. I mean, it's just such a huge sports town. I will tell you that's one of the coolest things I've ever been involved in was watching them implode Three Rivers Stadium. And what a bunch of degenerates we are. We got up in the morning because they imploded the thing at like 8 a.m. on a Sunday morning. You know, it's like, couldn't you do it at like 4 o'clock so we could like sleep off Saturday night over the group? You know, got lunch. No, you're gonna do it at 8. So like you like.
And then they built a new one.
We go. They built 2 new ones. They built a new football stadium and baseball stadium on both sides of where Three Rivers was. But so we like come home from Saturday night. Get like 2 hours of sleep, and then we already have like the cooler packed and ready to go, and we go tailgate to watch them implode the stadium. It was really one of the coolest things to watch. Like all the charges go off. It's like doom, 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 and then nothing happens, and you're like, wow, what a bunch of idiots! They didn't even do it right, and then just the whole thing just collapses in.
Would it surprise you?
And then we're like, now what? Now what do you do? It's
kind of like how Burning Man is. It's the whole thing.
Would it surprise you to know that in my college years, I did one of my projects was building implosion. So I did a paper on studying the companies that do it and how it's done.
Dude,
it's a really small group of people that do it.
Well, yeah. I mean, how often do you need to implode stuff all the time outside of Vegas?
Well, if we're talking construction, buildings, built buildings, yeah.
But anyway, I will say, like how often in your life do you ever get to see whether it's a stadium or a building get imploded? It's really pretty amazing to watch them do it.
And we're all about education here. So
we are. This is an educational program.
The fact that you use the right word, I wanted to make a point of that, folks. People will say, "Hey, I saw some building demolition," and the word is actually implosion. When they do the explosions and blow it up, that's an implosion.
It's an implosion because it falls in on itself.
That's right.
You know what? Here's
Jimmy Kennedy dropping science.
The thing here's another little educational fun fact for all you people that don't really care. When they did the implosion of Three Rivers Stadium,
which is Kelly at this point because no one's left.
Kelly, I can feel
your friends that were watching know that you're now drunk or on your way.
I can feel
and they don't care.
I can feel her pulling away, but just stay with me for 10 seconds.
She's in New York.
Got one after you.
But they when they did the Three Rivers implosion, they had already built Heinz Field, the football stadium, right beside it across the street.
Yeah.
And they had that beautiful club section with all that beautiful glass that went around the stadium.
Yeah.
And when they imploded it, they blew out all the club level glass.
Oh, cool.
Yeah. Oops.
Shockwaves.
Oops. $100,000 of glass blown out on the new stadium.
Shockwaves, man.
Yeah, they had to start all over on the glass.
Kelly Agent 137 put on a sweater. What would you like to say?
It's getting a little cold. I actually went to school about 40 minutes from Pittsburgh, so we used to go to Pittsburgh all the time. We went to Eaton Park all the time. Yeah.
Eaton Park is basically a wannabe Denny's.
I was in college, of course.
The thing I got for baseball, and it'll say the show with my mom, is that she is in the club of the people that have gone to all active baseball stadiums.
Yeah, I started doing that for a while. I haven't made it. I got kind of stopped along the way.
Yeah, she tells this story for about 10 minutes on there. It took her like 30 something.
Yeah. You know how we've been telling all these like great stories and promoting things? I will tell you one that I'm going to slander.
Please.
And that is Denny's.
Let's wrap it up on a positive
Yeah,
note.
I'm going to slander Denny's. And I tell you what, like, I worked for an advertising agency in Pittsburgh, and we worked on the Pittsburgh Pirates account.
Yeah.
And it was really awesome. They flew us down to spring training down in Florida, down in Bradenton, Florida. And they put us up at the Ritz-Carlton.
I'm familiar.
At the Ritz-Carlton, like in Sarasota or
It's
whatever.
close to Tampa, the strip club capital.
It's the only time I've worn one of those like robes that they give you. There was a cheetah and a zebra.
Yeah.
Which one would you go with?
Oh, the zebra.
Absolutely. But the thing was, the last time we were there, we go out to some club or whatever, and then someone goes, "Hey, there's a Denny's right beside the Ritz-Carlton."
Yeah.
Which should never happen.
Of course there
That
is.
should never happen.
Right. But Denny's was probably there first.
So, went in there and got like, moons over my hammy or
Yeah.
whatever.
Whatever Denny's on the corner.
And I got the worst case of food poisoning. I could not stop throwing up and everything. And the next morning when we're checking out to fly home, I get zero sympathy from anyone because they're like, "Oh, he's hungover." Like,
you're like, not really. I went to Denny's.
I'm like trying to check out at the Ritz-Carlton. I'm like dry heaving at the like checkout counter, like that bad. We got to the Atlanta airport. We had to do a layover on the way.
Oh no.
And I was sitting there with my head down. I managed not to throw up on the plane. I'm sitting there at the airport, and someone got the bright idea they were going to go get like Burger King breakfast. right.
This is what Jimmy looks like when he's hanging out at Denny's, folks. When you see that guy at Denny's, you'll know it's Jimmy.
But I gotta finish the story. It's so great because so they like all of a sudden I look up and I see these like breakfast sandwiches, greasy or whatever, and just I took off, like jumped over a set of chairs, pushing people out of the way. It's like that Tony Dorsett or whatever it was, like commercial with like Christmas where he's running through the airport.
It's okay if you say O.J. Simpson.
Or O.J. Simpson.
Yeah. It's allowed on here.
All right. Yeah.
It's okay to mention murderers.
Yeah. Dude, if the glove does not fit, you must have quit. So I go running into this bathroom, and I'm not kidding you. I dove face first into a stall, like public bathroom, Atlanta airport, with my arms around the toilet. With my legs sticking out of.
Was it an auto flush drive?
And I'm throwing up in this toilet, and I just hear like, this is like in the middle of the day, in the middle of the week, so there's like business travelers and stuff. Yeah. I just hear someone in the background go, "You all right in there, fella?" and the only thing that came out of my mouth was, "This is the worst day of my life." That's all I got out was, "This is the worst day of my life." Yeah, that was bad. So Denny's and your skillets and your moons over my hammy.
Two thumbs down?
Yeah. Two strong, adamant thumbs down. I will never.
The only thing I eat if I go there is their short stack pancakes, plain. Because pancakes generally are made the same way everywhere. Kind of like a bagel.
Yeah.
You can't screw them up, and it's like.
So what's your secret ingredient? Arsenic. So I will tell you, when you go into Eden Park, when it's May, they call it the Maryberry month of May, and they make strawberry pies that are absolutely amazing. So
strawberry pie. I like the cookies.
If you ever find yourself in Eden Park land again, make sure you go get a strawberry pie.
Better than Julian strawberry rhubarb. Kelly saw that last time. She was jealous.
I mean, you're talking apple pie versus strawberry pie, so I think we'd have to put them in the octagon and see what happens.
That is my favorite kind.
Awesome. Well, hey, Kelly.
Yeah.
You got any other words of wisdom you'd like to share today?
Absolutely not.
After having listened to us,
none. She's put on her sweater.
Yeah, after having listened to us,
I do have on my Mr. Rogers sweater right now. I've got the heater on. It's cold. It's New York. It's whatever,
She lives on a boat.
I've been waiting for you to sing the "Won't You Be My Neighbor" song.
She lives on a boat, a houseboat.
She's on a boat.
She's on a houseboat.
On a boat.
Nice.
Yeah,
that's awesome.
Yeah. It's the only reason we allow the backdrop as is, because there's actually nothing else you can do.
I was wondering why she kept going up and down and up and down.
That's why she's bobbing and weaving.
You want a tour? Here's my kitchen. Here's my living room. That's it.
It's like a studio on water.
It is. Studio.
Well, the wall we're seeing her back wall, but the wall that we would see if the camera's on the other side is, It's got all kinds of music shit stuff. She's making music, DJs.
That's pretty
doing
awesome.
cool things. She's planning a trip around the world on a boat. It's awesome. We're going to talk about that one day, Kelly. One day we have a guest cancel. Which never happens. We're just gonna. That's gonna be our reserve plan. Next guest we have that cancels, and I can't imagine why they would cancel. Actually, you know the.
If you have a guest that cancels, I'm literally like.
I have to say.
Reason for cancellation. Kelly sends
lies.
Kelly sends them a link and says, "Hey, just check out a couple episodes to see what it's all about." And they're like, "Oh, I thought it was a mix show."
And they thought they were coming to play some music.
They did. They thought they were going to come over here and play live.
Yeah, and then all of a sudden the
broadcast to millions.
The excuses.
Showed up with tractor.
You know what? I've got this thing that came up that I've forgotten about.
Yeah, things like that happen.
I will say that Wes has been there for 46 episodes, and I've done 45. Because you went rogue that one time.
Yeah, I did go rogue once because I don't know what happened. It was a scheduling thing. Kelly had other things to do. She's busy DJing.
It was a Sunday. It was you guys got together on a Sunday.
We were doing jet set things. We had to move to a Sunday. It was a DJ idea.
Well, I appreciate you guys having me. I've had a really good time being here.
Appreciate you.
It's been a lot of fun.
Yeah.
Like hanging out like on TV.
Yeah. And this might be.
Isn't that what all this technology is for?
Yeah, this might be my my big first time like on TV if you count YouTube as on TV.
Ooh, your name.
Something, dude. Yeah. All right, Agent 137. Well, don't cut it yet, but thank you so much. And Jimmy, awesome, man.
Thanks. I think I found out last night also that myself and Jaleel and Theron, I believe, we're going to be playing at the Duck Dive on April 13th.
Oh yeah, we forgot to ask about your events.
I know.
Dude.
I was going to say, man, can I give
yeah, please.
You guys said you're all about shameless promotion, and then you don't let me promote
please.
anything.
No, we're being shameless. We forgot about you.
No. And then promote yourself. It's totally fine.
I can do the Game of Thrones shame thing.
100%. We've got stupid friends everywhere, so do whatever you want.
We'll make Wes walk down the hallway from the studio, and we'll just do the shame thing from Game of Thrones.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah, right now.
What do you got coming up?
Yeah, that's what I've got coming up is Duck Dive on the 13th with Jaleel and Theron.
Which is right across the street.
Yep,
from the
right across the street. So, yeah, I just
May 13th.
No, April 13th.
Shit, April 13th.
Today is March 30th, so it's April 13th.
I'll be in town. Sweet.
March 29th.
And
I'm cruising over.
Yeah, that's what I've got right now. I just got done. I played in Vegas.
Are they doing a regular thing there now again, or what? The Duck Dive?
They're doing music on Friday nights pretty typically. Anyway, so
cool.
Hope you can make it everywhere.
I live right down the street.
If not, I'll create my own YouTube channel and I'll slander you.
Did you know that I started my morning today at 6 a.m. in San Francisco, and my flights kept getting delayed.
Yeah.
I got on. That's why I sent that message to let y'all know I was actually in San Diego, and the flights got delayed for 4 or 5 hours. I got back here, and then on top of that, I already knew this, but to cap all that off, I didn't have any keys to here or to my apartment. I live in a condo building where I just moved, so there's like the outside key and then your actual apartment key. I didn't have any of those. And I have to say, everybody pulled through awesome. It was amazing. I need a locksmith for one of the keys. They came over, did their thing in like 20 minutes.
Would you lose them?
Well, can I? The one other thing
that's shout out to Dupakey.
Yeah, right.
That's what I meant to say because I told the guy I would be like Dupakey, dude. They're right near you.
There's nothing that's more deflating than walking out of like an apartment or getting out of your car, and that first moment when you realize that you locked yourself out, and there's nothing you can do, and it's like, oh shit, it's
the worst.
That's such a deflating feeling.
It's the worst.
I was gonna say. If you want to listen to me, I'm on Mixcloud.
Oh, yeah,
like I said earlier, it's just Jimmy Kennedy. You can find me on Facebook on the Worldwide Book of Face.
Yes,
I'm on there, and we do our Taco Tuesday radio show, the one I was talking about with Matthew and Jesse and Jack.
Awesome.
We do that every Tuesday. It's 9 to 11, but it just with the time change it moved to 10 to 12. But it's Taco Tuesday Radio. You can find that on Facebook. Every week we usually play the first hour ourselves. And then we have a special guest every week that'll do the second hour. Sometimes it's someone that sends us a mix from around the country, and we've had guests from Canada and Mexico and around the United States.
And Taco Tuesdays is in a lot of places, but in case you're listening and don't understand, it's like an absolute infatuation in San Diego. So, to have a radio show named after that is on Tuesday.
Yeah, and I mean we go,
makes sense.
And we're strategically located between the PB Fish Shop and Takul. So pretty typically when we do it,
there's some great pictures if you go check it out.
Yeah, when we do the show at my place, we usually go to one of the two of them, and we also have people over to come hang out and stuff too. So it's a really good time. But every Tuesday we've had, like I said, we've had a lot of great guests on there. It's a really good.
Young Colin's been there.
So
I see a picture.
Colin just played a little ways back, and Ariel Z played on there. For about a year now, so we'll have to get you on there to play sometime soon.
Cool, yeah. I can see you got Jesse Austin, Michael Vay. Is that how you pronounce it?
Jesse's one of the residents.
Oh, nice.
Jesse's on there a lot actually.
Yeah,
almost every
that
week.
Makes Jack, as we've mentioned
Yep.
before.
Yep.
And these folks, yeah, awesome.
Yeah, we've I was just looking at it, but I mean, we've had a lot of most of the local San Diego guys have played on the show in the last year, but definitely would love to have you sometime. So
I like it.
Definitely have to come over the date.
Sort it out.
Well, thanks for having me on the show. I enjoyed it. It was a lot of fun. I feel like we could probably go a couple more hours.
We could, but I'm not sure that any guests can.
Yeah.
Or want to.
Yeah, I don't know.
They're like, dude, I'm pretty sure I got the taco idea.
Yeah.
And they didn't bring me any belching beaver milk stout. So
yeah, we're gonna have to end the show just simply because we're out of beer more than anything. Yeah, we're not out of words. We're out of beer.
That's how it goes sometimes, Kelly Ross. You know what's up. I swear I had something else I needed to say before this ended that I told somebody that I would say. But
anybody in San Francisco?
Well, yeah, fine. When I said that, I mentioned Chewy, I mentioned you sign out San Francisco, I mentioned those things. Good there. All the .coms. Just go at It's Wes Smith Yo anywhere and you can find stuff in your local social media or bathroom, either one.
I did forget.
Quality material in either place.
If you have any questions, you can find his number on your local bathroom stall.
I did forget something.
What's that, Kelly?
I did forget something. Handsome Dodger is featuring something on DNB Radio on Sunday night. I believe your time at 10 p.m.
Featuring who? You?
Yep.
Sweet.
Yep. Thanks, Handsome Dodger.
Awesome. Love it. All right, dude.
All right, cool. Well,
thanks, man.
If you
stay classy, yo.
If you ever have the misfortune of someone backing out, I'll just cruise on down the street with another 6-pack.
We'll keep it classy.
Appreciate you swinging by.
And we'll provide more educational lessons.
If you have any other friends that want to bring me a free 6-pack and bullshit for 2 hours, let's do it.
Yeah, we'll provide more life lessons another time.
Nice.